Good evening and welcome. My name is Rob, aka Lantern Noir, and we are hanging out tonight to get in and play some Ravenloft 1921. What happens when a fan of Curse of Strahd watches The Mummy and goes, huh, that could work. And then he recruits these amazing people, none of which made Brendan Fraser. But we have some really awesome facsimiles.
I'm kind of Brendan Fraser.
Kind of.
Kind of. I'm just, actually, no. Brendan Fraser was very superstitious in that movie because he saw the thing.
That's true. And he knew to use the cat.
Mm-hmm. I don't have a cat.
Closest we have.
Not yet.
The closest you have to a cat is Agnes.
Yeah. And I do keep grabbing her.
Agnes is closer to Evie than a cat. Evie does have cat energy, never mind. Brendan Fraser has dog energy.
Let's throw Agnes in the lake and see what she does.
No!
It depends on who throws me in.
Before we do too much more planning, let's go around the table, introduce ourselves, who we're playing, and we need a warm-up question. Can they swim? And if the answer is no, why not? And if the answer is yes, how? I think that's an interesting, because again, we're in the 1920s. Not everybody learned to swim back then. So did your character learn to swim? And we're going to start with Arwen tonight. We'll go around a different order than usual.
I'm Arwen Atreides, and I'm playing Amelie St. Clair. And I think that I actually thought about this week. I think Amelie can swim, probably not great, but at least enough because she grew up in San Francisco. So I think that she would at least have the basics down for safety reasons, if not being an athletic swimmer. She'd at least know how to keep herself afloat and get to where she needs to be in a crisis.
Sounds good. OuterDork?
Well, I am the OuterDork. I am playing Luis Harburg, our magician, stage magician / secret evil warlock, except not evil, mostly. And Luis only dog paddles. He grew up in the Midwest. He's been in the pond, but he also has no training in athletics and 0 strength bonus, so not a strong swimmer.
He can swim under the conditions by which he can, as raw, take 10.
So which begs the question, is swimming a strength check or is that like a dex athletics check?
Athletics defaults to strength, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So it would be a strength check.
But if you were proficient
I know swimming in harbor
in
is
athletics,
discussed
but not
expressly
strength.
as being a strength check. I don't know about swimming in general. But it is an athletics check, so it would default to strength unless the DM wants to get creative.
The DM doesn't want to get that creative. June.
Hi, I'm June. June says hi. I'm playing Agnes Devereaux, the resident rogue archeologist. That's the word for it. Skeptic, because we got to have a skeptic in a game filled with supernatural horrors. And Agnes did learn how to swim when she was younger. She was probably taught by her dad, who was very much the explorer, adventurer, learn all the skills so you know how to survive sort of thing. But she hasn't kept up with it. So she could probably remember the basics and keep her head afloat, but she tends to avoid water.
Fair. And last but not least, Kai?
Hello, I am Kaidapon. I am also a streamer. But I am not streaming today, as that is Rob's thing for today. And I play Darling Odessa, the barbarian bodyguard, who is very superstitious of everything. And, hailing from the Philippine Islands, I sure hope I know how to swim. The answer is yes, I'm a water baby. Let's go. Although that doesn't mean that we're not scared of what's in the water.
That's entirely fair.
Water has fish and fish are scary. They're all
Fish are fine.
slimy.
It's the other things
No.
that
Water
could be in there.
weird fish.
Fish are weird. They feel so weird. I don't like it.
Fish are fine as long as they're not like piranha or that weird thing that has that light hanging in front of its face.
The anglerfish.
Yeah,
they're
that
only
one.
they're only like the size of a tennis ball. They're not that big.
I don't care. That's big mouth.
Big mouth would probably only be able to eat your hand, maybe less.
I would like my hand, please. Thank you.
Yeah, we need those.
You'd struggle too much. They're not worth the energy to try and catch. Be scared of dolphins instead.
You know, I'm less scared of dolphins.
You should be scared of dolphins.
Jordan has the right idea. Fish are friends, but also food.
On that note, what if it's a where? No.
Oh no. Because that's all we need.
That's what we need.
I'm gonna just write
Instead
that
of
down.
werewolves, we all become were-dolphins.
Where, except dolphins don't do well in fresh water, and this is clearly a freshwater lake, as it is mountain stream fed. So
There are freshwater dolphins.
He was really trying to throw us a freshwater were-dolphin right now.
There are freshwater dolphins. I remember this.
How many wares animals can we get through in one campaign?
Is that a legitimate like goal or?
We can start
God.
we should start
How many
bingo
can
cards.
we get into the party?
Okay, who had were dolphin on their bingo card?
Apparently, OuterDork did.
So, in our previous sessions, the party has little backstory here as to how these investigators end up in the Barovian Valley. They all set off from London specifically to go to Cairo to be part of an archaeological dig. But as fate would have it, and storms, their plane was forced to crash land somewhere in somewhere in heated eastern.
Eastern Europe.
We got yeeted into East.
English is hard
There's yeast
today.
in the engine.
Words are hard. The plane was forced into a crash landing in Eastern Europe. Their exact whereabouts not known, as this is very pre-GPS. And unfortunately, a heavy cloud cover has made it even more challenging for them to figure out exactly where they might be, if any of them were navigators, which none of them are. Instead, the plane crash has brought out the stage magician, who no one's exactly sure how he got on the job, the archaeologist, her bodyguard, and the debutante sent off to Egypt just to get her out of the house for a while. If I remember correctly. After spending a night in a haunted house, the investigators set out on the open road because they had the opportunity to find their way into the Barovian Valley and hopefully some civilization. There they found themselves in the town of Barovia, had a few encounters, had some conversations, invited a vampire into a house, and are now in the process of escorting the lady of that house to a hopefully safer place. One that does not involve being dead. Like, so not a better place, but a safer place. As the lord of the manor, rumored to be ancient, has taken quite a shine to her. Let's see. Oh, yes. And then last session, there was the incident with the gallows, where Darlene was absolutely sure that she had indirectly or directly led to Agnes's death. And then a reading with a fortune teller who gave the party a bit of a collection of very eclectic commentary on the goings about within the valley. Does that sound about right?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Cool. Before we start playing and do the final parts of the recap, I do want to do a couple quick mentions. If you want to be part of the game tonight, we encourage you to do so. There's a discount code at Streamloots that you can use to buy some packs of cards to get in on any kind of effects within the game. And you can also give the party rerolls through the Book of Fate. So these are ways that you can participate. And last but not least, you'll also notice in the timers, you'll see a pop-up a week from this coming Saturday. No, 2 weeks from this coming Saturday is my retirement party. And I'm going to mention it every stream because I am excited about it.
That's my happy dance.
Don't forget to hydrate. Thank you, Osteki. But yeah, there's the retirement party on That Saturday, the 11th, we actually had 2 dance things the kids were supposed to do, and I said, no, I'm having a retirement party with my stream community. So hopefully that turns out to be fun. And Wednesday night, this past Wednesday, we ended the Convergence, which is my Wednesday night game, and we're having an off-stream rap party for Kickstarter backers and Patreons. If you would like to join either of those or join the Patreon and have an opportunity to see kind of some behind-the-scenes stuff. Okay, so enough about that. Let's get on to the game. We left off, you had just finished a several-hour hike over the mountain, and you were coming down and you saw a man rowing a boat out into the middle of this large stream-fed lake. Arwen spotted him wrestling with a large sack that seemed unhappy with it being added to the boat. He hit it with the oar, it stopped moving, and then he resumed his rowing. As we were discussing last session, you came into this moment, and you were taking off down through the woods, downhill, hopefully to find some kind of a clearing pathway out to the lake. I don't think we need to make any crazy rolls or anything here, as you're able to find a pass through the tree line and out towards the lake itself. If I recall correctly, I believe that Amelie and Luis were in the front of that particular pack. What happens as you burst out of the tree line and can see out over the smooth, gray lake?
Also, I'm going to go ahead and apologize if I just suddenly start making like scared glances toward my window. That storm started up again, so I can hear through my headset sometimes. So it makes boom, and I'm like,
oh, so the mood weather got to you.
Setting.
Yeah. They gave me a whole moody night of thunder. Whoa. Yeah, see, like there was lightning, and I was like,
"Yep."
That's bedtime weather, though. Nice time to go to bed.
It's in beta for Twitch for the Dungeons and Dragons channels. They're rolling it out to specific players right now, so hopefully by next week we can get the entire team on it. But for now, I can only pick one player to mess with. So I thought if I was going to put a lightning storm at somebody's house, you were the first choice.
So you picked the one that's scared of thunder. Okay.
Like I said, it's in beta. It's in beta. Hopefully they can work the kinks out of it. They've only had 2 house fires in the last 24 hours.
What?
So
that's not bad.
They're working on it. They're working on it.
Yeah.
I would like to not have a house fire.
Well, they were both
Don't
in
worry.
Texas, so.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so you have a chance to come running down that pathway, and it's a nice, fairly decent clearing in the woods. It's almost like this is a thoroughfare to get between the road and the woods themselves, or to the lake. But as you come up, you can see several fishing boats lining the shoreline, all overturned against the weather, and most look like they've got grass that has just started to almost grab onto the sides of it. They've gone so long untouched.
Far away is this fishing gentleman?
That's a good question. Let's see. He pushed off from there. He's had a chance to row to there. And that looks like it's roughly... Darn squares.
Looking at the right thing, or
about... It's not up on the owl barrier
okay.
yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I just needed to put a graphic up there, so I threw up a random combat map.
Okay.
He's probably a good 3/4 of a mile out. He's about centered in the lake.
Long way. All right.
Time to turn into a were-dolphin.
no.
My secret superpower I didn't tell anyone about.
Yeah.
It's all part of my elaborate backstory.
Psych, you're a druid.
So elaborate.
It sounds like the warlock and the monk come right up to the shoreline and then stop and go, Which is good because it gives the other two time to catch up.
Of the rowboats available, are any of them more lake-worthy than others?
Sure.
I pick one of the more lake-worthy ones and begin attempting to lake-ify it. Launch. Launch is the word.
Lake-ify it.
Lakeify.
Yes, I did grow up on a lake.
I like Lakeify. Lakeify works. It follows most of the rules for conventions. Okay, yeah, you can start to flip it over. All right, what's Amelie doing during this moment?
I'm gonna run up and kind of just stop and go, what's the plan here?
Blake, boat, row, save.
Good English.
Think those will
Luis
float?
is like
Do you think that'll
sort of
float?
panicking.
I'm looking. I'm gonna take like a more critical look at the boat he's attempting to lakeify. Does it look at all? Does it look sturdy? Does it look like it's going to remain on? Will it lakeify? Your boat will lake.
First lakeify, or first it was wisdomous. Now it's lakeify.
Hey, it works. Yeah, it sure looks like it's solid enough to, like, you don't spot any holes in it as he flips over and starts to push it into the water.
Does it look like it'll hold more than one person?
Yeah, they should be able to fit the four of you comfortably.
Okay, I'll go ahead.
They're usually designed for a crew of between 2 and 6.
Okay.
Wait, there's 5 of us, isn't there?
Good point.
Yes.
That's right. There's Ireena's with you.
We have Ireena.
Yeah. How dare we forget her?
You already said 2 and 6.
Yeah.
Yep. Or you could flip a second boat.
Or we could leave a few of us on. Well, I guess it depends on. Will Agnes
get on the
depends
boat?
on will Agnes get on the boat, because that'll determine whether we have at least 2 or 4 people. I'll get in the boat.
All right. I'm not getting in the boat. I'm going to stay on the shore and wait for you all to return.
Good thing I'm carrying you and I am stepping into the boat.
Agnes has no agency in this
None.
game.
Anymore. I will say one thing, you're going to drag me another way.
Uh-huh.
This is a twist because
Yeah,
nobody
yes.
can yell at me about not giving her agency.
Yeah. Yes,
That's-
Agnes will lakeify.
Like,
Apparently.
Okay, you all can clamber into
Lakeify
the
under
boat.
duress.
Yes.
There are enough oars. All 4 of you can take one, or you can work in it with 2.
Okay, but hang on. So if all of us together are at the boat's capacity, then we have a math issue, because we're not going to have room to add the person we rescue.
Assuming
We
it's a
have
person.
one room. No, we'd have
Assuming
5
it's
people
person.
and then one room for one more.
Possibly, yes. You could as you kind of like
Yeah.
start to look around the boat.
Okay.
You could put somebody up in the bow because Ireena just plops herself down at the rudder
Okay.
without even
Either
really
that,
saying
or-
anything.
they can, go in the water and hold onto the boat and we'll just drag them to shore. It's fine.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Okay.
Nothing says rescue like dumping someone into an icy cold mountain lake.
He was going to get dumped anyway.
So, question.
All right.
Back to the other question. Are you going with four people rowing or just 2?
Is speed the question here?
I mean, kind of.
I mean, I'll row.
Will Agnes row is, I guess, the primary question.
I don't know if you want Agnes's help rowing.
I mean, you probably don't want Luis's help rowing either, but, you're stuck with his weak butt.
We'll sit opposite each other
I mean, we're all
diagonally,
kinda-
so we
we're
have
all
the.
kind of weak butts at this point.
Yeah, let's just. You
Yeah,
know
we
what?
didn't really bring
Thank you.
Darling, maybe?
Darling is our least weak butt.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
is Darling
Alright,
just going to grab both of them and do all the rowing?
I could.
Like a cartoon.
I could. Like,
All right. We'll put her on row duty.
I'll
Mhm.
I can take an oar, but but I'm also gonna put most of my focus into kind of scanning our surroundings and to see if I see anything creepy coming out of the woods or around. I'm just gonna like keep a lookout. See if I see anything moving around on the shore.
Very reasonable. Very reasonable.
I can also do that if you need me to, because I, as a rogue, have the eye for detail.
Ah, well, there you go.
Ooh. Does that have a particular mechanic I should know about? Or is it just cool?
You can use a bonus action to make a perception check to spot a hidden creature or object, or to make an investigation check to uncover or decipher clues.
Solid. Good to know. Good to know. You have a chance then to get the boat underway. I need a final answer on the oar situation.
I'll take an oar.
I will take 2 oars.
I'll take the other oar.
Okay. So you're putting Darling up towards the bow with 2 oars, and then... Okay.
I'll be with Ireena in the back and keeping an eye on the water as you are all focusing on the
Cool.
rowing.
I need everybody who's rowing to roll me a strength check.
Do I need to row 2?
Nope, you just need to roll 1. Oh, and by the way, they all need to be within 3 of each other.
Oh,
What?
boy.
Oof.
Okay, here goes nothing. Okay.
You know, the monk is stronger than me in water.
You're just having a hard time coordinating the movement a little bit. You've got 2 oars. I've only got 1.
Yeah. Yeah, which is a problem because...
Now we're spinning in a circle.
Yeah, you're Ireena's working to keep the boat in a straight line, and it's desperately like it foop, hard right, and she's like trying to keep it going. You're moving. You're not going in the right direction yet, but you're moving.
Okay, so when it comes to oars, less is more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will stow my oar and recommend Amelie do the same.
Okay, I'll try stowing my oar.
You're not going to try again?
Well, well, then we'll have 3 going, and I don't know if that's going to help us at all.
You have to alternate.
I know.
Just don't whack me with the oar.
So is it? Yeah, this is the question. Is it easier to have Darling rowing for all of us, or have me on one? You know what? I'll try one more time, but I'll take Luis's oar. That way we have just 2 people handling 4 oars instead of 3 people handling 4 oars. That might be easier.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll try one more time.
You 2 give me strength checks again. Solid. And...
Oh my fuck.
Oh, it's within 3.
That works.
It's fine.
It's within
okay.
3.
Okay. We're good.
It's you've got some speed. You're coming up on the other boat, and you watch as the guy sets a fishing line. He starts to actually, so he's throwing out fishing nets off one side of the boat as you approach. And he's checking the various weights and the various floats. And he throws it out and starts to let it go down. And he kind of moves a little bit away from it. Takes a paddle and gives it a few pushes. And you're making pretty good time. It's a good distance, but you're making decent time. As Agnes is scanning the shoreline for anything else of interest, you don't see anything in particular at this time that jumps out, unless there's something particular you want to be looking for.
Ripples in the water?
All right. Quick question.
Yes.
Would I be able to see this this man in the boat? Does he have any fishing lines with him? Like fishing rods? Can I see those?
You can see some
Or does he
fishing
just
rods
have
poking up.
Second question, does he have a tackle box? Can I see that?
Not from here.
Okay.
Not from here.
Okay. Would I be able to get a more, with like a perception check or something, a more definite idea of the shape of this bag?
If you stand up, you might be able to get a view of it, but you're coming like it's. Last you saw it was down in the boat. Part of the reason that Amelie spotted it was you were coming down a hill. But if you stood up, you could take a look.
I'd rather not do that. I don't think I've got very good sea legs in a boat this small.
Fair.
Let's see.
Fair.
Can I look down into the water to see if there are any fish in this lake?
Sure. Roll me a perception.
Cool.
And clank.
8.
Yeah, it's clear but dark.
Okay.
Okay, we are not starting that.
It's already stuck in my head.
Crap.
Hey, it thematically works anyway.
Crap. That's such a
Unfortunately,
problematical musical.
I don't know what that's from, so I am blissfully ignorant.
It's an ear.
We'll catch you up on the break. Okay. You start to get closer. You're making pretty good time. You're probably about 300 yards out. No. Because that's 5. That would be 3. Yeah, that's about right. And you can see as the guy in the boat grabs onto that sack and just heaves it overboard opposite his nets.
I heard something completely different for a second. I'm so sorry. That just threw me off. Okay.
All right.
So the thing in the boat the thing in the boat isn't moving anymore?
Well, the thing in the boat, I mean, there's a guy in the boat, and the bag that was in the boat that was moving, that wasn't moving, is now in the water and sinking.
Oh.
All right. As it was coming out of the boat, could we get a more definite shape on it?
Sure. I'd say it's somewhere about 5 feet in length and made of canvas wrapped. And so it's got canvas around it, and it's got a set of like relatively thick hemp lines all the way around.
Okay.
Either something really innocent or something really bad.
Yeah. I don't know if you all saw that, but he just tossed what looked to be a very suspicious lump of canvas and rope into the water.
Yep, did notice that.
And everyone is going to...
We're 3 football fields away. Not a lot we can do at the moment.
Row harder?
I mean, I'll
sure.
row harder.
All right, give me another strength check.
Oh, I rode very hard.
Oh no.
Oh, nice.
I don't. Ah!
Okay, so I have mixed news. Amelie does not have oars anymore.
Oh.
And that's okay, because Darling looks over her shoulder and goes, basically, whatever her version of "Ah hell no" is, and just starts to dig. And the boat is picking up some speed, and it does not take it long to cross the distance. Oh. Rasha would like you to re-roll that. I'm assuming that's for Amelie to re-roll.
For me?
Yep.
Okay.
Nope.
Nope.
How did you get a 0?
Because I have -1 to strength.
Oh my god.
I didn't know you could light oars on fire.
Not with that attitude, you can't.
Light horse on
is
fire
there-
in the middle of the lake with no.
Oh,
Is there any
No.
way? Is there any way I can make like a save to try and like not completely lose one of the like? Can I just like fumble and try just to hold on to it in case I need it as a weapon?
The oars are gone.
The oars are gone. Okay, that's fair.
Unfortunately, this is one where you were trying to keep up with Darlene.
Yeah. Okay.
And you went up, and she went up, and it's like her oars went through yours and just shattered the wood.
Okay.
Now the good
I'm
news
sorry.
is she doesn't care because she's still going.
That's glorious.
Well, yes, Rasha, you should be. It was a good try.
It's hilarious.
It was a good try. We do.
It was great. It's fantastic.
It's probably 30 seconds, tops to a minute, and you're coming up on the other boat. Who's doing what?
I'm gonna keep an eye on the water to see if I'm seeing the body still. Like if it's still close enough, or I'm not gonna say body. That it's just a lump of stuff.
Or
But
is
see how close
trash.
it.
Probably his
Look.
trash from the week.
We're not gonna jump to any conclusions yet until we open it up.
I am
And then-
both jumping to conclusions and into the lake.
Oh boy.
Well, let's see where it has gone first before we jump into the
it
lake.
went down.
It went down. Let's just see
It went
how
down,
far
so
down.
I am going also down.
Okay. Hang on 1 second. Jumping to conclusions.
This,
Also into the
you're
lake.
noting for eclipse.
Mhm.
Yep. There we go. That's a keeper.
That's a good one.
So you dive in, and it's going straight down. There's something in the bottom of it so it's at least it's going down upright, but it's going down. The rest of you watch as Luis leaps out of the rowboat. The guy in the fishing boat does not appear to have noticed you.
I'm gonna like position myself, like poise myself right at the edge of the boat, and I'm gonna yell at the man of the boat, "Hey, what'd you just throw in there?"
He kind of blinks and turns. Oh, it's for the fish. It's good luck.
With that face, because if he says it with that face, then I'm I'm gonna jump into the water.
Yeah, kind of. Then kind of turns back and waits to see if his nets show any fish caught.
Let's see. What do I have?
Yeah, me gonna swim towards the thing he threw in the water.
Okay. Does anyone have anything that can float?
I do not. Oh, I have my parasol, which will just keep me. It won't. Would that keep you afloat?
No.
I'm looking more
Probably
for
not.
like a sort of buoy sort of thing because we have the rope. They
there's
might
some-
need help
There's
getting
some
back.
buoys.
Oh, there's some buoys. Great. We're gonna throw one out there with rope.
There's fishing stuff. And there's floats for the
Okay.
nets and whatnot.
Okay.
As you come up closer and closer, and Luis is continuing to just dive deeper, which we'll get to in a second, the guy in the boat actually takes out a rod and kind of casts it out opposite where he dropped the sack. And then kind of settles in like everything's fine.
So, what do you? What's good luck? What do you throw in the water to make the fish come?
Oh, he turns to, you make an offering. You send the evil things in the water so the good fish come up. Now, shh, I'm catching fish.
What kind of evil things? I've got like one eye on him, and then I'm keeping an eye on Darling in case she needs help.
I'm making
Meanwhile,
flotation devices.
how's Luis doing?
Luis is, while attempting to swim down, going to telekinetically shove up on the body. Moves it 5 feet closer to me.
How many times can you do that?
Bonus action once per turn.
Every 6 seconds.
Uh-huh.
So basically, you're just pulling it in while you're going down.
Yeah.
I dig it. Give me a
Nice
strength.
in the hole. I did have a plan.
Forgive us if we were not so confident.
That's totally fair. Strength check?
Strength. Yep. Or actually
Yeah,
athletics.
The plan would have been good to share when I asked, "What's the plan here?" But
The plan was
go
to
off,
do
I
this.
I thought
You don't
the
get to
plan
say
was
that
lane
underwater.
This is a great way to work as
thing.
part of the team.
You don't get to say that while you're underwater already. That's not that's
Yeah.
not a valid
No,
like
so-
sharing a plan.
What I heard
Remember-
of the plan was lake,
That's not ideal.
water, boat.
That was the only part of the plan that required explaining. And it's not like Luis goes around saying, I'm a telekinetic.
Yet.
Men.
I'm gonna. Can I make a perception check on the dude and see if does he have like blood or any sign of a struggle on him?
Oh, sure. Roll perception. I have bad news, though, for Luis.
I'm bad at
Your
swimming.
lungs are starting to burn,
Yep.
and you don't have your hands on the bag yet.
How far am I from him?
It's hard to see. The lake's kind of dark. There's not a lot of, it's overcast. It's clear, but it's overcast. There's not a lot of light coming up. Are you going up for air, or are you going to keep going down for the package?
I'm going for the package.
Are you sure?
Get ready that
Uh-huh.
new art.
Okay. Roll me another athletics check.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna roll. Yeah, we'll do this. We'll subtract. Okay, so the lungs are starting to burn. You're taking 1 hit point of damage. And you're almost at it. You're gonna keep
All right.
going?
How
Oh, yeah.
clear and or murky is this water? Can I see Luis and or the bag?
You can see the shadows down there.
And where's Darling? Is she like right behind him, or is she still on the surface?
Darlene?
Didn't
Darlene's on the
Darling
boat.
go in?
But no,
I
I
thought-
dove
Yeah,
in.
she
That's
dove
why I was
in.
asking how far I was.
Oh, I got lost in
Yeah.
all the shuffle there.
That's fair.
Yeah, give me an athletics check. I missed that. Okay. It's only 11 for tax purposes.
Tax purposes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Darlene's coming up very fast on Luis, who's slowing down. And almost has his hand on the bag as Darlene comes, like, shooting up next to him and underwater. Luis, you can see her, like, right at your shoulder at this point.
Awesome.
Are you staying down or are you going up?
I am going to try to pull the bag one last time with telekinetic shove to get
Okay.
it to her. And then I'm going to head for the surface.
Okay. Give me one more athletics check. Having been down there for a while.
Eh.
Nah, I didn't roll that great on my side of the screen either. So it's 2 more hit points damage as you start to get lightheaded and have a chance to push your way back up towards the surface.
Okie dokie.
Darlene, you're not going to be too long down here before you start have a similar feel. You've got one hand on that hemp rope that encircles the bag, which is wiggling. And you're muted.
Sorry, I was telling him not to eat his goldfish on the bed. I'm gonna take out my dagger. Yeah. I'm gonna take out my dagger and cut the rope.
Okay. So you start hacking, cutting away at the canvas and everything.
Yep.
Okay. It's a little tricky to do underwater, but you can do it. And as you cut away, you can see that there is a figure bound up inside it.
Oh, yep. I'm gonna grab that and start swimming to the surface.
Okay.
Is it wearing clothes?
Yes, she is.
Oh, I will grab her by her collar and pull her up.
Okay.
Is it a her?
Totally doing it. Give me an athletics check. As Luis bursts out and takes a full gulp of that cold mountain air.
Me or Louis?
Luis. He's clear. He didn't drown.
Would I have been able to get the flotation device out to them?
Serious? It was on 19 for like a second.
Uh-oh.
Help!
You're not as strong a swimmer as you thought you were.
Oh, no.
I was until this moment.
People are heavy. It's hard to carry a wriggling body.
You try to push someone up and they're panicking and they just kick you in the face.
Yeah.
Kind of. Ooh. Well, you have a lot of hit points.
Yeah. How much?
10.
Yeah, that's fine.
As you literally gulp water, trying to catch your breath.
That makes me want to vomit because I don't know what's been in this lake. How many offerings has this guy been?
Is that you're currently drowning and your primary worry is about fish poop?
No. What else has this man thrown in this lake that's decayed in this water? I want to know. Don't tell me.
What's the body to water ratio?
But how much dead body is this water?
You have a chance
Right,
to
so
look
I've got
around.
my breath.
Luis has crested a figure with copper curled hair that just sort of like smatted against her head also comes up, and she's struggling to catch her breath as she's wiggling and trying to get on her back to breathe, and you don't see any sign of Darlene.
Can
Alright, I'm going
I
back
can't
down.
see. Oh boy.
Can I look into the water for Darling?
Wait, Agnes is going into the water now?
She's going to look in the water for Darling.
Both of you can give me perception checks. Luis, give me your athletics.
And I'll be doing the same thing to Darling that I was doing to the... Yeah.
Yep. That's a good plan. I respect
18.
the plan. 18. You can see her. She's not moving much.
Another 7.
Another 7.
I'm diving in for Darling.
Pete's sake.
Make that trending on Twitter. Diving in for Darling.
Oh, Luis is having a hard time getting down that deep. Agnes is in. Is Agnes an accomplished swimmer?
She learned how to swim at one point.
Give me an athletics.
Hooray. Let's see.
How did the barbarian die? Well,
I drowned.
gosh.
I can't see it. What was it?
0.
Oh no.
Okay, remember you
And that's
mentioned...
how we ended with a party of one.
Remember you mentioned that Agnes knew how to swim?
At one point.
Yeah, that was in a
She
swimming
forgot.
costume while sitting next to the pool at the athletic club. And there's a moment where as she starts to flounder and find her way under the water that she remembers she never actually learned to swim. She learned how to sit poolside and talk to the adults.
Oh my god.
It sounds about right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
God help us.
It's
God
not,
help me.
It's not like it's not like the mom, like her mother didn't try. She sent her to the athletic club for lessons every week on Tuesdays. It's just Agnes never actually got in the water.
My hair looked too nice.
Okay.
I can only frantically yank one person out of the lake at a time.
I'm gonna kind of triage here. Who can I see like most clearly closest to the surface?
Well, it goes Agnes, who can't swim, then Luis, then the girl they've rescued, and then Darling in descending order.
I
Darling,
thought the girl we rescued crested.
she did, but she's still half tied up.
So is Agnes like down in the water, or is she just like floundering on top?
She's floundering on top, thankfully.
Okay. I'm gonna use the oars and I'm gonna try and get the boat close to
With the oars that are on fire.
Agnes.
Got it.
With those, well, not mine were on fire. Darlings should have been fine. Aren't darlings? Or were darlings?
No, hers are good. You're gonna grab those
Hers
ones.
are good. I'm gonna
Hopefully
grab
don't light them
darlings
on fire.
oars and I'm gonna try and get close enough to where Agnes can grab the oars or grab the boat.
Okay.
Grab onto the boat.
Okay. Ireena
Don't
gives
smack me in the face. with
Ireena
yours,
helps
please.
you maneuver the boat over. Ireena like leans out to grab onto Agnes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And pull her to safety.
Okay, then can I see? Oh gosh. Can I see where there's 3 people in the water in distress?
I would also like to point out the gentleman who's fishing is not paying the least amount of attention to you.
Yeah, sure. And I'm guessing he's not going to be of any help anyway because he just threw somebody in the water. So who has the girl?
Nobody right now. She's just trying to get onto her back and keep her mouth above the waterline.
Okay. Can I like? So she's like tied up.
Yes.
So her arms are not free. Okay. I'm gonna get in the water and swim towards her and try and shove her towards the boat.
Cool. Athletics check from
Okay.
Amelie. I need athletics checks from Luis and Darling.
Freaking finally.
Oh, yeah, you guys should be fine.
Oh, thank God.
There we go.
Ugh.
Okay, so Amelie's okay. Luis is okay. Darling's okay. Finally, the dice have said, "All right,
Dice have had their fun.
we've had our laughs. Let's move on now."
You've had 2 unnatural zeros. We've had 2 zeros so far. It hasn't even been an hour yet.
I don't think we've gotten a 0 yet this campaign, have we?
You
We
rolled
got
a
2
0.
of them.
Yeah. And 1.
2 within like 10 minutes.
Yeah. All
Okay,
to do with a boat.
My goal was to try and get the girl in a position where she could grab onto the boat and like hang on there. If that means like helping her out of the ropes or shoving her over there.
Yeah, well, she can get, she'll grab onto the boat with her hands, which are tied together, and kind of cling.
Okay, and then do Darling or Louise still need assistance?
It seems like they do not, as they both crest and kind of start to tread water. At which point, the guy in the fishing boat will turn and go, "Do y'all mind? I'm fishing here, and you're making a lot of noise. It's gonna scare the fish. I don't want to go make another offering."
He sounds like he needs to die.
He makes a good point. You don't want to scare away the fish.
And look, you. That's all I got to say. You know what you did.
Did you even see me jump into the water?
I probably saw the floundering. Because it sure as heck wasn't the girl.
As Ireena helps
Busy
pull
drowning at the time.
Agnes up and out of the water. And starts trying to help the rest of you up into the boat.
Gold is my witness. I thought I could swim.
Let's think a little harder next time.
Damn.
I was worried. She wasn't coming up.
Is everybody in the boat yet?
Yes.
I will come up in the boat and start spitting into the water because I don't know what I swallowed.
I'm gonna pat your back to help you get it out.
Ugh, it tasted salty.
Tastes like salt.
That freshwater lake.
Smelled like salt, then it tasted like salt. We've come full circle.
Nope, we've got 3 more senses to go.
No.
It sees the salt.
I can't wait to hear what salt sounds like.
Oh, jeez.
All right, is everybody in the boat? Because I'll get back in the boat once everybody else is in the boat.
Yeah, you can help everybody up into the boat.
Okay. I'll help people back in the boat.
Okay. The girl's very happy to be pulled up, but she turns and she glares at the guy fishing. And she doesn't say anything, but she's like pulling at her bonds, trying to get loose.
I'll
help.
use my dagger and cut the rest of her bonds.
Thank you. I owe you. And then she turns and takes a running leap off the front of your boat onto his.
Oh.
Fair.
Oh, you know what? She's got it. Just wait, make sure she's got it. I don't want to, all of that to have been in vain.
Am I to understand the party's current disposition correctly that the girl you just rescued ran, jumped into the boat with the guy who was fishing, and y'all are just sitting down breaking out the popcorn?
Yep, I have an Eldritch
Yeah,
Blast ready.
or
in
we
case
could
these
raid
go
his
long.
boat for fish.
I'm pretty sure he hasn't caught anything yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're breaking out the popcorn.
Rob's like, what the fuck
We're
have
a
I
little
done? I'm
tired,
asking these
okay?
people to
We're
play
just gonna
D&D.
sit and watch this.
I'm just making sure before I do any more narration that y'all are just like, okay, we're gonna sit right here and wait a second.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not
we
going
really
back in the
don't
water.
know
That
what
nearly killed me.
happened.
I'm gonna let karma decide what happens.
Not like I could make that jump. I can barely swim.
I mean, we could
I
row
can't
over
swim
there.
at all, apparently.
We could row over adjacent and try and break it up and figure out what happened.
Well, you
but-
are kind of adjacent at this point. If you got the boat
Does
up
she
close
say
enough,
anything, or is
Okay,
she
do
like
we want to do
attacking
the
him with her bare
gym
hands?
teacher break it up?
well, she
break it
actually
up
grabs one of
routine?
his oars and goes to beat him over the head with it.
He did hit her with the oar, so he deserves whatever he gets.
I
He
mean,
did-
turnabout is
He
fair
did
play.
also throw her in the water, so I guess that's fair.
And then he did say that if we saved her, that he was gonna have to kill somebody else. So, he's probably better off dead. For fish. Is anybody else clicking it? He's killing people for fish.
Yeah, that's going a little extreme for your hobbies.
He makes a very awkward attempt to defend himself as he takes an oar to the side of the head and then slumps down the back of his boat.
At this point, I'm okay stepping in. Let's maybe keep her from killing him, but I'm not sure I'm not on her side.
She pauses and throws the oar into the boat. Looks at you. Again, thank you for pulling me out of the water.
What happened?
And she looks down at his unconscious body. This oaf attacked me.
Why
Was going
would he
on and
do
on
that?
about offering to the lake.
You know what we could do is we could just leave him in the boat in the lake and take his oars. We are
have more
missing
oars?
two.
We could also just kill him.
I agree with her.
Yeah, I'm not so excited about just killing people.
We could
In
just
cold
let the
blood.
lake kill him since he loves it so much.
She looks at he tried to drown me.
So, do you have a town constable or a legal group we could turn him over to?
She pauses and looks towards the shoreline. Well, we could take him into Vahlaki, but that would not be good.
Why not?
I think you are right. We should leave him here in the water. Let him drift. Yes.
Hang on. We're going to Vahlaki anyway. Why is that not a good idea?
Why don't we just leave him here and get back to shore?
Can I make an insight check?
Sure.
She's being very dodgy all of a sudden.
I mean, I'm happy with leaving him in the boat.
Yeah, but she changed directions real fast, and now she's being sketchy.
Sketch AF.
Insight 16. She hasn't lied to you yet. She legitimately believes it would be bad for her to go into Vahlaki.
Would it be bad for her to go into Vahlaki, or be bad to take him to Vahlaki?
It would be bad for her to take him into Vahlaki.
Okay.
She clearly is very concerned about going into the town.
Thinking about how to word this. Well, if he tried to kill you, he should face justice. Why shouldn't we take him to town with us?
In Vahlaki, he will not face justice for attacking me.
Who is this guy?
Fisherman from Z-Town.
A fisherman who won't... Who are you?
Pulls her hair out and starts to twist it and try to wring the water out of it. Apologies for not introducing myself. My name is Arabelle. I am one of the Vistani.
I'm going to look at Ireena like...
She makes the sign of the
Blank
cross.
look.
Oh.
And she kind of sits and kind of leans back a little bit.
Question.
Yeah.
She said Vistani, and then she made a sign of a cross. Could I do a religion check or history check to see if I would recognize what a Vistani is?
Sure, roll history.
Okay.
You're a little out. You're outside your. This is a 5 wise.
Okay, 14.
14.
What's that got me?
Ireena's reaction is not dissimilar to what historically has happened when groups like the Tinkers in Ireland or the Roma people in Eastern Europe interact with a more established culture. Suspicion.
Okay.
And almost an immediate like, hey, you're different, don't like you, you're weird, you don't follow our rules kind of thing.
Okay. And then I'll burn you at the stake kind of thing, right?
Possibly.
Okay.
If your town's into that kind of thing.
If enough cows go missing, sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or just die
Or
under
if the
mysterious
potatoes all
circumstances.
die.
Yeah. Yep. That would be about right.
Okay. The scapegoat.
Ireena's not against the idea of helping this girl to shore and just letting her do her thing.
All right. Take
Which
yours.
Ireena will even say, we heard the reading from Madame Eva. We don't need to travel with Vistani.
I'm gonna
Where
look
did
at.
you get that from? Madame Eva's reading.
Madame Eva is the leader of more than 2/3 of the Vistani in the valley. They look to her for guidance as their elder.
No, we
Well, then we
shouldn't
can get her
travel
to
with
shore
them
and send her on her way to find Madame Evil
because
or something, whatever it was.
you lost me.
We can't trust them.
I'm
Is
gonna
that all
look
right?
at-
I don't trust you either.
Fair enough.
I mean, fair.
I mean, I won't trust you after you get me to shore, but you are taking me back to shore, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
It's very logical.
And she kind of like,
Temporary trust in order of mutually assured survival.
at this point now she's pulling her skirts up and starting to wring those out. She's got like 3 layers of colorful skirts that
Dang,
are
no wonder she sank so fast.
fully
You know?
soaked through.
Oh yeah.
That'll do it. I'll look at everybody else. So do we take him with us or do we leave him here?
I don't think we bring the murderer with us.
I don't think we have enough room for him. Such a shame. He can stay here.
Fair. I'm not okay with just shanking people, but I'm okay with marooning.
Mm-hmm. Let nature decide what happens to him. See if the lake actually enjoyed all those offerings.
We should leave him with one oar.
Arabelle will kind of get this grin, and she'll pick up one of the two oars and break it over her knee.
There we go.
Drop it in, and then reach out for you to help her into the boat.
I'll help her into the boat.
Tonka.
And then I'm also going to start wringing out my own hair and skirts.
And suddenly you all realize something in this moment where you have a chance to breathe, that all of you are incredibly wet and incredibly cold.
Yeah.
Luis is dry.
Luis is dry.
Oh, are we going Sam from Lord of the Rings? Dry.
Prestidigitation can dry your clothing.
Look, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that.
Just like we don't talk about Bruno, okay?
Okay.
It's
we don't
it's
talk
one of the
about
quirks
Sam
of
being
prestidigitation is
dry.
it can clean
We
and
don't
dry
talk
clothing.
about Bruno.
So everyone is soaking wet, wringing out their clothes, and Luis just kind of like shakes out the front of his jacket, and everything is dry.
Yeah.
I'm
You're a
gonna
dick.
give. I'm gonna look.
You
I'm
are.
gonna give like
You
a
are.
very level look at Luis. Care to help us out here?
He'll. Hey, Agnes, look over there.
Oh my fucking god.
Snaps his fingers a couple times.
I'm not looking anywhere but right at Luis.
I was
I won't say
focusing on
anything.
Darling to make sure she's not still coughing up water.
No, I'm good.
Drowning,
Yeah, I'll dry
like
everybody off.
late
Okay.
term drowning is a sort of thing. You could drown in your sleep.
That's called drowning in your own drool.
So you dry off Amelie. Or you're drying off Agnes without her knowledge?
I just wanted her to not be paying attention at the time.
Okay.
Okay. Casual. Okay.
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 She
It's
wasn't paying
amazing what a mountain
attention.
wind can do to dry you out.
You fair?
No, definitely freeze you, that's for sure.
Mountain wind,
So that's a
well
type
known.
of dry, I guess.
Amazing
Cartoon
drying capabilities.
physics.
Yeah.
You make your way back towards the shore without as much excitement as the trip out. Wow. And eventually pull the fishing boat up onto the shoreline. Arabelle will help. She'll jump out and help pull it up. One hand, she's got her skirts up so they don't get too wet. And the other hand, she's helping pull the boat along. And then she'll look at all of you.
Do you require any more
Can you make
assistance?
it home safe? Anything else you need?
Home is different. Yeah, I should be fine. Thank you again.
Our pleasure.
You're welcome.
Happy to help.
Glad you didn't drown.
As am I. One thing though, if you come across Vistani in Vahlaki or near, could you not mention these?
All right.
Okay.
If they ask, maybe you saw me going through Vahlaki.
Is there any reason in particular why they might ask?
They are looking for me.
In a good way or a bad way?
That depends on one's point of view, I suppose. My father will swear it is good reason. I disagree.
Wow. Okay.
I don't see any reason why it should come up.
Okay.
Best of luck in your travels, I guess.
Don't go drowning again.
That is not my plan.
Oh, that's good.
She heads over to some of the bushes and starts to kind of like look around for something. And she walks around a couple of different trees, and Ireena comes up next to you and kind of watches her curiously until Arabelle pulls out a satchel that was tucked deep in some of the brush, throws it over her shoulder. She opens it up, checks for some things, pulls out a deck of cards that she fans out in her hand, folds them back up again, and tucks them away. And she gives you guys a wave. I need Amelie to roll me an int. Which is better for Amelie? Because this could go. I could go either way on this. Roll me a wisdom check.
Straight wisdom?
Yep.
Not great, but not terrible.
Scribble, scribble, scribble. And paste. And note has been
By
passed.
golly, a note for me?
By golly.
Golly gee!
As long as,
Willikers.
as long as none of you say jinkies.
Jinkies.
Jinkies!
Really?
You said not to
No,
say
but you
it.
have to
You
say
said
it with
not
the
to
right.
say
You
it.
have to say it with the right inflection. Jinkies.
Jinkies!
You did ask for it.
You did.
Yeah.
As Arwen's, or sorry, as Amelie's considering, Ireena's going to kind of watch her go and reset her blade. Vistani they're in league with him, you know. They take his orders.
Him being
She cocks her head up towards where the castle would be on the other side of the mountain.
I'm gonna look at.
and he's cool with people sacrificing them to the lake.
I can't speak to his motives.
I'm gonna look at.
It's awfully strange for someone to allow a random fisherman to sacrifice their own workforce.
I'm gonna look at Luis and say, I'm remembering something Madame Eva said about the enemy of the something about the enemy of the Dark Lord, and a child drowned by the devil's hand.
He pulls out his weird, slightly scorched notes.
Shorthand.
Arabelle looked like she was maybe somewhere between 13 and 15.
Yeah, woman who crosses from one to the next,
Child,
New life
may,
may
a
be
woman.
snuffed.
Something about a child
drowned
and a
by the
woman.
devil's hand.
It's an interesting coincidence.
Not a coincidence. Why do you think I ran across the forest and nearly drowned myself?
Agnes is also going to say to Ireena, it would also be strange for a man to employ some children. That's a little unethical nowadays.
Ireena looks at Agnes. The whole of the people serve him through their entire lives. What else would one do with children? I mean, if they're not working in the family business or on the farm, what would they do?
You ship them off to school and forget about them. I'm also
Yeah,
remembering
exactly.
something Madame Eva said about haste being important on this hunt. So maybe we should get a move on. About what time
I
is it?
concur. I would like to
The
get
dark.
some dry clothes.
You're in dry clothes.
When did that happen?
Yet another
Telling you,
thing to
out in
put
the
in the
wind.
sarcophagus.
It's amazing.
More things not to think about.
this is gonna end up in an institution when she gets back. Okay.
Okay. You watch Erbel jog off down the road, and you can continue on your own.
Let's power walk.
Hey ho, it's off to town we go.
Oh, that's what it was. I was looking at the wrong notes. Those were her exact words.
Hmm?
No, I'm just going to amend the note I passed you before we move on.
Oh.
This is what was in... I copy and pasted from my notes from the other game.
Too late. It's already gone in the official record.
Nope.
Oh. Well, that's a big difference.
For the wrong tarot reading.
No, because that part was copy pasted between two adventures because I just happened to like it.
That's something good to know after she's already left.
I'll let y'all roleplay this however you want to as you start down the road.
So should that note have been attached to the one previously?
That's what you would. That's what Amelie remembers.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of come up and keep pace with Luis and say, I've just remembered something else, Madam Eva said about shedding light on someone who would help in the battle against darkness.
Yeah. I'm trusting the karma here.
Do you think we should have encouraged Arabella to come with us?
Not necessarily.
All right, then.
If we're going to a town where she's not wanted and she's fleeing from her people, that, or at least her father, that puts her probably on our side, but not in a good position to, go to the town we're currently going to. So
Oh, one good turn
maybe we'll meet
deserves
again,
another,
maybe
I
we won't.
suppose. Well, I suppose time will tell.
A short walk later, and you find yourselves approaching the wall around the city of Vahlaki. The gates are manned, and the wall is made up of sharpened logs standing 15 feet tall that wrap around the city. The road goes straight into it as you approach.
Is there the gates are manned, are they open or closed?
Presently they are open as you are coming up on, sun has not yet set. It's not dark, but, so they're still open, but the guards look like they're getting ready to swing them shut and chain them for the night.
Time to put a wiggle on it.
Not a bad idea. I'm thinking that too. Let's get through this and then we'll do that. The old Savlik Road meanders through a valley watched over by dark, broody mountains to the north and south. The woods recede, revealing a sullen mountain berg surrounded by a wooden palisade. Thick fog presses up against this wall, as though looking for a way inside, hoping to catch the town a slumber. The dirt road ends at a set of sturdy iron gates, with a pair of shadowy figures standing next to them. Planted in the ground and flanking the road outside the gates are a half-dozen pikes with wolves' heads impaled on them.
That's a welcoming sight.
Looks
Real
secure
wolves' heads,
enough.
or are they just like carved wolves' heads?
They're wolf heads.
Okay, real wolf heads, got it.
Yep.
Down his team, no wolf.
There are two guards there watching as you come up, and one will call out, "Speak your business quickly. We're locking down."
We seek accommodations for the evening.
What's your business? What brings you through?
We are escorting a young lady to a safer location. Points to Ireena.
They look at each other. And Ireena kind of looks at you and then looks at them. Ireena Kolyana, the burgomaster's daughter? And the guards look at her and go, wait here.
Uh-oh.
And start to close the gates.
That's not good.
I'm going to look at Ireena.
That's rude.
Is this likely to be a problem?
I don't think so.
Can I do an insight check on their saying of wait right here to see if like their tone suggested that she was unwelcome or that they might welcome her?
Is this an ominous wait right here, or just a
is this an ominous wait right here,
bureaucratic
or
wait
a...
right here?
You don't need to roll that. This is
okay.
We're not sure we want to let her in.
Okay.
Ooh.
Wait right here.
I'm gonna kind of aside to Luis. We might need to think up a plan B.
I'm gonna. Okay, as the guards are closing the door, I'm like, you're gonna leave 4 young ladies out here to wait as the sun is going down. That's awful rude of you.
The guard left standing kind of leans her elbow against the side of the palisade on the inside of the fence. Goes, well, you went out traveling. Surely you can handle yourselves if you have to.
You went traveling out during the day, not the night.
Not a lot of difference in this valley.
That would have been
Surely we
useful
can at least wait
information
inside the gates.
earlier.
You're left standing for a pretty decent number of minutes.
Bureaucracy.
When the guard comes back, and he has with him this massive brute of a man, who comes kind of showing us, Lady Wagner is willing to meet with her. Let them
To Ireena, who is Lady Wagner?
Ireena kind of looks like she's trying to rack her brain. She's one of the landed. She's a bit of a minor noble here, if I remember correctly. Father didn't have much to do with Vahlaki. There was enough to keep him busy with Barovia itself. But if I remember right, she's not the Baron, but she has clout.
All right.
Well, let's go in and chase this clout.
The gates will open, and I need all 4 of you to roll me an insight check.
Okay.
Wow. I'm dumb as cardboard.
It hovered on 14 and then it rolled over to 8.
Okay.
17.
Okay. And with that, the gates are opened, and all of you kind of start to shuffle through. The big man takes another look at Ireena, and then waves you to follow. And you notice that his left arm is even larger than his right, and almost ends in a set of claws of some kind. Easily written off as some interesting form of birth defect.
Sure, that's all it is.
Well, that's for Agnes.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm going to give him the side eye and kind of put myself between him and Ireena.
And we'll find out what happens as you walk through town after we take a short break.
Yay.
This is going to get interesting. We'll see everybody back here in a couple of minutes. If you're subscribed, awesome. You don't have to watch any commercials. If you're not, consider it because you're going to get a couple ads before you get to enjoy some clips of the channel. You might also take this opportunity to pop over to the Patreon and give a subscription if you want to be at the Convergence Watch rap party on Wednesday night. It's a good chance to be part of that and to hear all the goings on behind the scenes. So we'll see you all back here in about 5 minutes.
Sorry.
The one that's between Chrysanthemum and her bottle.
Yes. Yes.
That's a dangerous place to be for many reasons.
Like, why am I here?
I legit have been screaming this entire time. So you know what? What is the health of everybody
You're also
right now?
full health. You want to like come
All right,
back and join
everyone's
the battle?
full health.
Like, no, we're not. The rest
All
of
right.
us are like highly injured. You're on the
Yeah, we're
outside
all
full
hurting
health. You wanna,
pretty
like,
bad.
The
help out a little
Jamboard
bit?
says that everybody's. Oh,
Oh, refresh.
Refresh
Never mind.
that. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Ember's alive because I just healed for 12. Show is at 12 out of 41.
You
You're
were
like
literally
farting
seeing
around
full
on the
health
outside of
this
the circle.
entire
Like,
time,
come
weren't you,
join
Ensign?
me. I'm full health. Y'all.
Shadows
I'm gonna have a
didn't
picnic
have a
over here.
spot on the jam of the thing, and I was just like, oh, I don't know.
Oh, I think we broke the.
way.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going. Like, do we think it's going to follow us?
Yeah, can
I'm
we
sure it will.
outrun it? Yeah, I was gonna say, can we outrun it, or is it like something that's just gonna follow us no matter where we go?
I don't think we can outrun it. I mean, it's not going to come any closer for a bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're gonna have to fight
Well,
it.
we could take shelter in the smoldering ruins, right? Because
I don't know if that's gonna help.
We
It's probably
don't
just-
know what's in the smoldering ruins.
Well, it couldn't be any worse than this.
We could
Oh,
come
yes,
across-
it could!
We could come across like another giant creature, and then we're fighting two at the same time. And then
But
it's
it
terrible.
could be like Godzilla versus King Kong. So if we run into something even nastier, maybe it won't want to eat us. It'll go after the other thing because they're legends and they have to fight. That's how that works.
No, or they team up against us.
You've had a very fortunate life, haven't you?
But there's a way to check if you really want to know.
I'm intrigued.
Cut your hand. Bleed in front of her.
Got it.
I mean, but if she's.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd do it. I so did it. Smell it?
But like, she could not necessarily
So
be a
pauses right there.
vampire.
Well, you're
She'd be,
saying
like,
she is a vampire, so.
Or she's like possessed by one, or like
cutting her hand open,
or like the
in the middle
leader.
of Strahd's domain.
Wait, her
Sounds
hand
like
or my hand? I just cut my hand open.
Not hers.
Sounds like a
James.
fantastic idea. Oh,
I didn't have to cut my hand open. We need to cut her hand open.
oh.
No.
Come here, girl. Come on.
No, you
I'm
mean to
already
say-
bleeding.
James just like waving his bloody hand in
Like, come on.
Ireena's face.
I'm heading that way. I'll tackle
Oh,
her
she
ass
already has
again.
the potion. She already has the potion.
No, she just handed you the book, and as soon as your hands touched it, she let go and run.
She's not going to take the potion?
She's got bigger fish to fry, like getting her ass out of there. You shot her.
I'm trying to unshoot her to the best of my abilities.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we assume this guy is bad.
Oh, he's super bad.
Well, you know.
Okay, that's all I needed to know.
I mean, he
Good.
keeps on trying
have-
to. He's a dick. He keeps on trying to coerce Ireena into coming up to his castle and fucking die, become a vampire lady, and she's not into it.
Well, I mean, you know, okay.
Maybe re-roll. Yeah, re-roll it. Re-roll it. The birds
Yeah,
are
yeah,
important.
yeah.
Everyone's in on the reroll.
I screwed these birds up earlier. We need
Come
a
on.
high roll.
We got this.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Oh no. Oh my.
So
every time I'm the bard who
Amazing.
does not want to be I'm really bad at being a bard.
That is amazing.
Worst bard ever.
Yikes.
The good news is, after this adventure, you can start taking levels of anything else.
Anything else? What the hell? Okay.
Go ahead and roll me a performance check. Maybe the dice are going to favor you at the moment.
Also,
Are we an intimidation? I can't like intimidate the rhyme
No.
with my music. Okay.
No.
Well,
Can
I
you
thought I would
specialize
try.
this in intimidation music?
Or I
though?
can't persuade them to not sing with my music. Okay.
What's up,
Can
Molly?
Can we do anything when we're singing, or is that like it takes up our whole action?
Oh, it doesn't.
Come on.
It doesn't. Oh, good lord. Yeah,
Finally.
I'm over here trying.
I finally can bard. For just
Yeah.
let me bard. I never get to bard. I'm always doing failing rolls when it comes to bard skills.
The bard
This
is
the
being
first
a
time.
bard. You're barding when it's most important.
It's about time.
MVP.
Sweden is my lucky country.
No
All right.
kidding.
Yeah.
As you seem to be doing really well with it.
Ooh, that 20 is
Oh my
25.
god.
Jeez.
Nice. Shattered it.
Wow. Well, you can roll your damage. I don't.
25. Because I got 3 6s.
Holy cow.
Oh my goodness.
She just hulked out. Rage hard.
Yeah, I think you should rage all the time. I think you
I
should
like this
never
rage,
not.
yeah.
Never
This
not be
is
raging.
good. Well,
There's
we get
where all our
2.
good rolls were hiding.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's why they were so bad earlier. We were saving up. But... Stop hitting my friends.
Oop, wrong
They're
way.
damaged books with that kind of attitude.
Well played. Wow.
I feel like we should not be meddling anyway. If there's someone killing someone else, it might be for a good reason. You don't know.
Oh my.
Got dark. Wow.
We have killed lots of people for various and sometimes no good reason. Yeah, she's not wrong. Oh, good lord, we're murder
I'm not
hobos.
one
to judge, okay?
Am I to conclude the party is going to enter into the house?
Yes.
Yeah.
Having taken a holy order of some kind and other oaths.
I'm thinking like an elven, like really.
Kung Fu Elfin Monk?
Kung Fu Elfin Monk. Okay.
Yes. That meditates a lot.
I can live with that.
Because elves don't have to sleep as much, so totally right.
He goes in, he does a few loops, he comes back out and beep.
Okay. Beep once if there's dead bodies in there. Beep twice. No, that doesn't work. All right, beep twice. No, that doesn't work. Okay, beep. Ah, screw it. I'm gonna see if I can sneak up. Like, see if I can sneak up and find a widow to kind of like. It's not really the sharpest tack in this box. David.
Do we have playbills nearby?
Sure.
Playbills are made of paper, right? And that's
yeah.
made of wood. Can I use shillelagh with a playbill? This is technically made of the same stuff I would need, right?
What pulp?
I'll allow it.
All right.
I'm gonna go. Common, Mother Clucker, do you speak it? We need some information. I'm not sorry, by the way.
and that is that weird, sickly smell in the air.
Oh, God.
Something like rotting meat.
Ew.
As we're walking, I'm like starting to like shake it off, and I'm just gonna say under my breath, she's just mad her mom never wanted her home for holidays either.
Wow, that's some Gossip Girl shit. Like,
wow.
Anybody else smell that?
It smells like salt.
Smells like tea to me.
Not what I meant.
Alright, if you didn't know that was one of our clips, that's going in there.
Oh, dearie me.
And we're back. We left on the break. You had been admitted into Vahlaki with the understanding that you were on your way to meet with Lady Wagner. If that's agreeable to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's agreeable to me.
Not that you exactly had a ton of say in it, but
I was gonna say,
I mean,
it is what it is. So yeah, you're led through the town, which is a rather curious place. Let me see which one are you heading to? Let me make sure I take you past all the appropriate landmarks. The town is starting to settle in for the evening. Shops are what shops were open are boarding up. You pass a stockyard at one point full of wagons, carriages of different types. Some are brightly colored, some are rather somber. As you continue through the town, I don't think that's one we need to worry about. Nope. And we're not getting close enough to see that. And yeah, cool. Yeah. As you make your way around, the guards, neither the guards nor the large man say much of anything to you. You mentioned earlier Agnes is walking next to Ireena, trying to keep like a buffer. Does anyone else do anything of interest as you walk through the town?
I'm gonna whisper to Ireena and let her know that he's been giving her a weird look, so she's aware of it.
I noticed. I've never been to Vahlaki, but it's like he knew me.
Yes.
I'm kind of scanning the area. Sorry, go ahead.
I just said that was disturbing. You're good to go.
I'm just kind of scanning as we walk for anything suspicious or possibly threatening. And I'm going to say kind of quietly, Agnes, dear, this seems like it might be a situation of particular delicacy. Let's go out of our way and try not to cause any offense.
I'll do my best, dear, as long as you do the same.
I'm sure we all will.
It's you two prissy pants.
I had a mouthful of coffee. If you had made me spit that out, if you had made me spit that out, I would have come through the screen for you. Precious.
Oh, we're doomed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, kind of.
Just a bit.
I mean, we already knew that.
We've been doomed since this campaign began. That's kind of the whole thing of Curse of Strahd.
I spoke too soon on that storm, by the way. It just hit a like really big thunder. I was just like, what the like I wasn't ready for it.
Also, the beta testing is still going. Nice one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lasts a while. That's pretty pretty nice.
Only the best for their affiliates. You should see what they do for partners. As you continue to walk along, you notice that there's a sign has been posted against one of the walls of the shop. Another one's been tacked to a light post where an oil lamp sort of swings in the wind. And it reads, "Come one, come all, to the greatest celebration of the year, the Wolf's Head Jamboree. Attendance and children required. Pikes will be provided. All will be well. The Baron."
Sorry?
I have several questions.
So do I. That is peculiar phrasing.
I'm gonna kind of point. Ireena, do you know anything about that?
I am as horrified as you are.
Highly
Bit about the children is very concerning.
One of the guards sees you all staring and looks at us. Oh. And she goes over and she pulls it down and crumbles it up. That one's out of date. This one over here. And she points up the road a bit at another light post where there's another one tacked up. And as you approach it, because it's on the way, "Come one, come all, to the greatest celebration of the year, the Festival of the Blazing Sun. Attendance and children required. Rain or shine. All will be well. The Baron."
That doesn't.
Do you have to have a child in order to participate?
Oh, no. No. Just establish that children are expected to be in attendance.
Why?
Because everyone needs to be there. Baron's orders. Even the children.
It's just rather odd that they separately include that children are required. It seems a little redundant if everyone is required to attend.
What sort of things do you do at this festival?
Well, the Wolf's Head Festival was a parade of wolf heads to celebrate the hunting of the wolves.
I see you've hunted many wolves if the heads outside are to be inferred that way.
As you say that, you hear off in the distance, "How?"
That speaks for itself.
Gar kind of looks at us. There's lots of wolves in those forests. This way.
Right. Keep walking and looking around.
People are starting to come out, and they're also taking the roads. But where at one of the intersections, the guards lead you off one way, and you can see people are filing down the road past you.
Where are they going?
Guard kind of looks over her shoulder. Oh, probably the Sedandrils.
Okay.
The church. Evening prayers.
A religious lot, are you?
Yes.
A devout.
Father Lucian holds Vespers every night.
That is very generous of him.
Keeps some people's spirits up. I mean, not as much as the festivals do, according to the Baron.
Do you not agree with the Baron?
I do not disagree with the Baron.
I see.
And the other guard, the older gentleman, with a thick white beard, scratches it. No one disagrees with the Baron.
Oh, dear.
That's good information to have.
That's
good to know.
Be interesting to see what happens when they find out that you all didn't visit the Baron tonight.
We're strangers. We're strangers to the area and not familiar with the protocols. Ought we to visit the Baron tonight?
The big lumpy, hulk of a man turns to us. No, you're meeting with Lady Wagner.
And will that be sufficient?
Lady Wagner has vouched for you. You will meet with her. Which the guards kind of do we don't get paid. Everything about their body language says, we don't get paid enough for this.
Okay.
That is very generous of her to vouch for us. We will be sure to give her our greatest thanks.
Eventually, the road turns and twists a few more times, and you find yourselves at the Wachter house. This house seems disgusted with itself. A slouching roof hangs heavy over furrowed gables, and moss-covered walls sag and bulge under the weight of the vegetation. As you study the house's sullen countenance, you hear the edifice actually groan. Only then do you realize the extent to which this house hates what it has become.
That's ominous.
I'm gonna turn to Amelie and say, if there was ever actually a good house in this area, I would be hard pressed to actually believe it.
I'm just gonna nod. The atmosphere does leave something to be desired.
You are eventually you're led by the large man up towards the front door and up the stoop. He bows his head down as he opens the door and gestures for you to enter into the foyer.
I'll go in.
Mm-hmm. I'll make sure to keep myself between Ireena and the broody man. Mr. Lumpy Arm.
Mr. Lumpy Arm.
Look, if he didn't give off creep vibes, he wouldn't be getting insulted.
That's rather judgmental.
Ireena agrees with me. He gave off creep vibes.
Okay. The large man kind of looms over you as you all file into the foyer. I should ask if I should ask if you need me to take your coats.
We're good.
I'm
still rather chilled. I'd like to keep it on.
As you wish, this way, please. And he opens the door into the hall, and from there steers you off to your left into a sitting room. Double checking. Making sure I'm following the map right. Actually, we're going to go into... Yes, that room. Let's see. To which... let's see. Tell you what you see. Here, 3 elegant couches surround an oval table made of black glass. All are set in front of a blazing hearth, above which hangs a portrait of a smirking nobleman sporting a broken nose and a tangle of hair graying at the temples. Several smaller portraits hang on the north wall. There's a woman seated on one of the couches, and she rises as you come in. And she looks you over. She's wearing a red, full-length, I guess I'd say dress, for lack of better phrasing, but it's something that looks very like 1890s, 1900s. Lots of fabric overwoven, high neck collar, a bit of a bustle to it.
I'll do a very slight curtsy.
Yes, welcome. A pleasure to have you in my home. My name is Fiona Wachter, and you are welcome always, most especially you, and she nods at Ireena, in the Wachter house. Please, sit and tell me of your journey across the mountain.
Are there chairs or seating enough for everybody?
She gestures at the couches. There's enough room for everybody to sit and or stand as they so desire.
I'll come in and sit.
And as you come in, you notice that a very skinny, like skin and bones cat appears on her shoulder as though it has walked out from behind her head. And it kind of hunkers down and rolls its shoulders and seems to stare right through you.
Me personally or each of us?
The first person to approach. So it sounds like through Amelie.
Okay. Yep.
What kind of cat?
Gray. Short hair. Maybe long hair that's just underfed. It looks mangy. And ill-kept.
Out of character. I really want to take that cat home. Little baby.
Yeah, so there's not appear to be a very large supply of mice apparently in this area.
Seem to be a lot of fish.
Don't know that.
If you make the right sacrifice. Okay, but I'll follow. If Ireena's gonna go sit down, I'll sit with her just to
Okay.
Maybe.
Ireena's really hesitant at first, and when she sees you start to go, she'll take a step. And Lady Vakter will actually take. My dear Ireena, it is a pleasure to have you in my house. I did not believe the word of the guards when they said you had arrived in our humble little hamlet. It is truly an honor to have the daughter of the burgomaster. How is he?
Can I, with the way her tone is implying, can I infer if she knows?
You can roll me an insight.
Thank you. Okay. Also, I want to run something by you. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So I have the ear for deceit. So whenever I make an insight check to determine whether a creature is lying, treat the roll as a 7 or lower. On the d20 as an 8. Would this be considered me checking if she's lying or just inferring tone?
I'm just going to take that under advisement when you roll your die.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. I kind of forgot that kind of existed, so I wanted to bring it up so I didn't forget again.
Is that a feature?
Yeah, ear for deceit.
Ear for deceit.
Yeah, but I got an 18.
I got an 18. Oh, she hella knows that the burgomaster is dead. She totally knows, and she is messing with Ireena in a way that is actually making you and Amelie kind of impressed. Like, not a good way, but like how you watch true crime documentaries and you're like, wow, they killed 17 people and the FBI had no idea. And you're like, okay, legit, that's impressive.
I mean, I can respect that.
It's like you can appreciate the art of a good passive-aggressive insult.
Yes.
Rich people.
Rich people.
I'm gonna put my hand on Ireena's, like on her hand on her lap or something, that in a way that looks like a friendly gesture, but I can like signal her, like put pressure or be like, hang on, proceed with caution.
Oh, you know, every time I've run this adventure, I've gotten 2 major NPCs backwards. Darn it. Oh, well, we've made the necessary change and we move on.
We need to back up.
Nope, not at this point. We're too committed.
Okay.
I even made special notes so I could keep track of this whole stinking town because there are only 25 NPCs I have to keep track of.
In this town or in the whole thing?
In this town.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
So how's that going for you?
No, I've only screwed up one so far.
Okay.
That he's willing to admit.
I'm willing to admit.
Yeah.
Ireena looks like disquieted, and then he passed peacefully in his sleep. Thank you for your concern. And then she sits down very calmly. To which Darling will notice as she sits, she swings the saber at her side up against her hip so that she doesn't like bump it when she sits down. Like she's almost practiced at it.
Yeah. Agnes is gonna sit down. She's gonna have her legs crossed, but have like both her hands on her cane.
Fair. Lady Voctor will turn to the big man. Izek, go fetch the note off of my desk and see it delivered if you'd be so kind. Yes, milady. He bows really low and cuts across the room where, if I'm not mistaken... Oh, it looks like he's going to have to go out one room and into the next. And then so he goes off into one room, comes out, and then passes you a few moments later to go out the front door of the house again.
He goes through. Does he leave the door? Sorry. Let me back up a little bit. Yep. So he goes into her office, correct?
Yes.
Can we see the office? It's like there a door separating the office?
Around the corner from you.
Okay.
You'd have to get up and follow him.
Okay. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. And then in a few moments he'll look at us. Lady Voctor will say, I'm so very glad you're all here. I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage. Again, Fiona Wagner, Lady of Wagner House.
You speak as though you were expecting us.
And you are?
Amelie St. Clair. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I'm familiar, yes. Yes. A good family, the St. Clairs, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, are you familiar with our family?
Bits here and there.
Only the good ones, I hope.
Of course.
Can I make an insight check?
Sure.
Not the first time somebody has claimed to know my last name.
Oh, nice. 2 18 insight checks in like a row. That's nice.
Yeah, you guys are like on your game tonight.
Like we know when to catch people lying. Okay, this is what we know.
Look, don't jinx us, okay?
Okay, the rich people understand when rich people are lying. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, she's never met you before, but she knows that is like boom. That's what you say.
Sure.
Yep. She's playing for brownie points.
All right.
And she turns to Luis. And you are?
Just Louise Haubrick. No one special.
Oh, aren't we all special in some way, my friend?
Simply playing escort these days.
Ah, yes. You are in the company of quite a few comely lasses. Which, in contrast, and then she turns to Darlene.
Oh!
You are?
And without even a second thought, Darling just goes, Bernadette Del Rosario. Pleasure.
A handsome name indeed.
Thank you. We're not returning the compliment.
Can you type that out?
Yeah.
Good night.
I didn't quite catch the last name. I want to make sure I got it correct. Thank you.
I don't trust this lady with my name. She's gonna put a curse on me.
You're the smartest out of all of us. We can tell when she's lying, but but we're gonna give her name.
She
All right.
made a whole fucking Red Robin talking about your name, your name, your name. Yeah, you ain't getting my real name, bitch. This is like Rumpelstiltskin bullshit. I'm not doing it.
And she sits in and she politely inquires about your journey. And how it went, anything of interest on your way. Are you offering up anything?
Just the bare minimum. We left Barovia. It's been a lovely day's walk.
Did have a couple of scares with some wolves, but I see that this town handles them well.
Ah, yes. The Good Baron's Festival of the Wolf, an effort to bring joy, despite his lack of adherence to the law. It was
filing that away.
It was quite the event. He tries so very hard.
As is the admirable thing when one is in a position of leadership.
Mm-hmm. Did his best to keep the people happy.
Well, there are more efficient ways to see that done. But we shan't talk politics. It would be impolite of us. It is fortunate, though, that you reached the town before dark. I'm afraid, however, I cannot offer lodging to all of you this evening.
Is there an inn?
Well, you might rent rooms at the Blue Water, but I would never ask ladies of quality and station to do so.
Oh, we just want to mean like ladies that can kick your ass. Cool.
Well, I'm sticking with Blue Water, obviously. I will be waiting to understand what the ladies choose to do.
I don't wish to impose upon your hospitality. We are more than comfortable seeking lodging elsewhere.
Oh,
I think circumstances being what they are, we'd prefer to stay together, if at all possible.
Well, if you would insist, I intend to ask one of my sons to relinquish their room to the good Lady Ireena for the evening. It's not appropriate for one of station, to sleep with the commoners. But I am very afraid I can't turn the entire house out for your party.
I'm gonna grab Ireena's hand and kind of squeeze it to let her know, like, hey, don't accept that.
And Bernadette's gonna speak up. Well, the lady of station has been just fine, camping out on the way here. So if she's okay with camping out, I'm sure she's okay at an inn.
We really would hate to impose.
Yes, and she is quite the strongest of us. And it'd be such a shame to throw one of your own sons out of his room.
I'll try to make it nice. I'm just trying to backhand this lady.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you go, Bernadette.
Yeah.
That just broke everything.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Stop breaking things.
Okay, that fixed it. What's the point? What's the point in having really cool files or everything if you don't actually use them from time to time? But I'm afraid I really must insist.
Who's she charming?
Again, it would simply be unseemly, wouldn't it? I suppose. And my sons have not yet returned from their evening libations. When Isaac is back again, I will have the boys rent a room at the Blue Water. That should allow at least two of you to sleep comfortably in beds, and, well, the rest of you might perhaps take out the couch. Come again?
You cut out.
Oh, the lady in question, Ireena, how is she responding to all of this?
She's in agreement with you that this is a bad idea.
All right.
And it's like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to be a bother. I'm perfectly fine sleeping at the inn with everyone else.
You know what's also unseemly is trying to force somebody to do something that they don't want to do.
I think what our companion is trying to say is that, well, we're just so comfortable. We've grown rather close as a group, and we would prefer to stay together until we've gotten a bit more settled.
Excellent. Then yes, when Isaac returns, I will have him go to the inn, tell the boys that they will rent rooms there this evening, and we will put you up here in the Wachterhaus. It only remains to which of you would like to take the other room and the other bed. I'll have my maid draw up linens for the couches.
I'm just gonna give that knowing look over to Agnes and then Arwen, like,
We'll be indebted to your hospitality.
Excellent.
And I'm gonna match Darling's look.
No, that was the look of like
well, this my look is like we're in between a rock and a hard place now. If we piss off this lady, we could be spending the night in her basement for all we know.
I mean, I'm okay to fight. You ready to go? Let's go.
I'm comfortable sleeping on the couches. I believe Lady Del Rosario deserves the room. I'm gonna give Darling a knowing look, like, just take it, go with it.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at Luis. Like, what's his take on this?
I don't
We've
do
got
a whole
lot
lot
of
with...
looks flashing back and forth here.
Right, I say I'm enjoying the apparent entire facial expression conversations happening. Luis is out of his depth. This is rich folks politics. He doesn't do rich folks politics. He does the theater and occult societies. So he's like,
fair enough.
Can we just leave? Like, it's one little old lady. We could just, oh, hey, look at the time. We got dinner reservations. Gotta go.
We've got dinner reservations.
I mean, that would be easier if we actually had reservations somewhere else.
Yeah, we just got here. Well, we could just wait for her to go to sleep and then leave.
Make sure we have a room with a window.
Mm-hmm.
No, we don't trust windows
anymore. We don't want windows.
No, I meant we can get out of.
Oh, make sure it's not boarded up. Yeah.
And if somebody asks for permission into her house, well, then we're kind of screwed.
I'm sure they won't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I meant. I just meant we can invite him in and hopefully he'll go bite the little old lady, but then we put Ireena in danger.
Yeah, no, that's not. Because he might, if he knows Ireena's there, he's gonna go for her. Yeah. I think. I don't know. He seemed real stalkery. I don't think he's gonna go for a little old lady.
Real stalkery.
Just a little bit. Just a little. Yeah, there's
so. Yeah, Luis has been pretty quiet this whole time. Just creepy old lady with a creepy cat. Sure, free bed, I guess. But he's going to mentally speak to Amelie and say, so we were told we should also meet with the Baron. Is he our out?
That's a good idea. Out loud, I'm going to say, well, thank you for your hospitality, but we couldn't possibly take advantage of accommodations without first making our acquaintance to the Baron.
You are absolutely right, Amelie.
It would be extremely rude of us not to make ourselves known to him this evening.
Mm-hmm. Terribly rude.
And we should hate to make offense so soon into a new place.
She considers that. Yes, it would be logical. In fact, I do believe that when the good mayor is awake, you should meet with him. But at this late hour, he has surely already closed his doors for the night. Plus, in any moment, and here they come. And you look across the way, and there are a pair of maids are bringing in trays through the doors you came in through and setting them on a long table on the other side of the room. My staff has worked so hard since you arrived to prepare some food for you.
How generous of them.
Oh, because I'm going to eat that.
I'm not
I didn't say that out loud.
And the two maids start to lay out various cheeses, sausages. There's a small bowl of cut fruit that looks somehow every piece of it is bruised. It says, "Please join me. I'm afraid I've already dined for the evening, but I'm happy to sit with you at the table."
Your generosity is very much appreciated, but I'm afraid we've also already dined for the evening. Not having known what we would find inside the city, we took our supper before coming into the gates.
No, you didn't. The DM says.
I know that, but she doesn't.
We know that.
Okay.
We know that. Yes, I'm afraid we are quite filled. Thank you. Some lovely fish.
Well, then please sit with me then. And again, you absolutely should meet with the mayor in the morning, but it is after dark. I'm sure the good man has bedded down for the night.
And you're most likely right, but we should at least make ourselves known to his staff so that they know to expect us.
Excellent. That I cannot agree with you more. She snaps her fingers twice. One of the maids appears. I believe that Miss St. Clair requires a bit of stationery and a pen, if you'd be so kind.
Guys, I'm running out of ideas. Out of character.
And the girl...
In character, is there a reason you're so adamant on keeping us in the house?
I simply want to make things convenient for you.
Well, we have our own ways, so if you wouldn't mind, we would like a nice little stroll, and we shall return. I'm just gonna tug on Agnes, let's go.
I can't keep you here by force. But where exactly do you intend to go in the town after dark?
Speaking of going to the mayor's home. And then to the Blue Water Inn.
She turns to Agnes. But we have rooms here for you.
But we don't wish to impose upon you. And you seem so adamant, and, well, we don't want to put your sons out of their rooms, after all. It'd be very rude of us to do so.
They're quite likely to fall asleep drunk at the bar.
Well, then when we see them, we can send them home to you. Ladies, shall we?
Let's go!
Oh, certainly. And I'm going to make sure I'm grabbing Ireena as we go.
This is the get the hell out of Dodge moment.
I don't
Thank you. Appreciated your hospitality. Off we go.
We do.
Quickly.
I'm sure we would all also like to have our own beds for the evening.
She stands, and in her eyes, if eyes could cast spells, magic missile upcast at level 6 is what is happening.
Oh boy.
I believe I have something for that.
And she'll watch as you. She'll she'll stand, and the maid who had gone to get the pen, the stationery and the pen, quickly sets the stationery down on the table and hustles over so you don't have to touch the doorknob.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks to her.
You are most gracious. Thank you.
It was such a pleasure
And
to make your
we
acquaintance.
exit stage left.
And as you
Pursued by bear.
you make your way out.
Hopefully not.
She follows you to the door and stands in the doorway watching you leave.
She's creepy.
And the cat just sort of paces between her two shoulder blades.
That's just weird.
Not even creepier.
And there's a moment when you look at it that you're not even sure it's a cat, because there's a bit of a flash of lightning off in the distance, and for a second it almost looks like some kind of small demon.
Of course. That's a warlock, ladies and gentlemen.
Before it blinks back to being a cat. An obvious trick of the
obviously.
light.
Of course.
Sure.
A mangy cat can look like a demon in the right light or non-light.
Arcana check.
Sure. Yeah. You saw what you saw.
Yep.
It's hard to say for sure what it is.
Once we're out of earshot, out of sight, I'm going to say, well, it'll be interesting to see what sort of an enemy we just made.
Way too easy to make enemies around here.
Is there anybody out on the street or anybody we could ask for directions to the mayor's house or the Baron's house? I think both Baron and Mayor were said, so I'm not sure which one.
They appear
Or are there any signs?
there are no signs to it. I can tell you that. I would say that at this time of night, having spent a good chunk of time at the Wachter house, it's not going to be the easiest thing to find out where you're going. Least of all to find his house. So let's see. You were at 4. You think you want to go to 3.
So I have an eye out for any patrolling
Just
guards.
over there. And when you see the guard, what do you want?
Directions to the Blue Water Inn.
Okay. Yeah, that's not that hard to find a guard who's walking a patrol. And he can provide you directions to that.
Accept
Baron in the morning.
As you start to approach, you see Isaac, the large brute of a man, coming out of the blue water. And he hasn't quite seen you yet.
I'm going to take Ireena, shove her behind me, and kind of like go into the shadows of the building.
Yeah, is there like a corner we can duck around?
Yeah, just out of the light.
What they said.
Yeah, that is very doable.
Strikes me that the Blue Water Inn might not be a safe place.
Well, he's leaving.
Yeah, but what was he doing in there?
He was looking for the sons, wasn't he?
Or letting somebody know we were here. I don't know that we want to go anywhere that's. I don't know that we want to go anywhere that's connected with that lady.
Not that big a village.
That's what worries me. So can we like hide in around the corner until he is gone?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. And as you make your way, as you kind of press yourselves against the wall and, watch them go by, you can hear him grumbling. We have to make sure the guards know if they're found, they would be taken into custody, taken back to Wachter house.
I told you it was creepy.
Well, that doesn't seem good.
That one girl needs to be in the house tonight.
Oh, I told you.
That's when they're going to come for her, and she'd best be there. Put the word out to the guards. There's an extra 10 coin to any that find her.
Maybe we should follow that other girl.
Fairly conclusive.
You hear? Psst. A diminutive cloaked figure standing at the end of the alley just sort of beckons.
Approach
with caution.
Yeah.
Are we playing a video game now? What's happening?
Yes, we're playing a video game.
I hit the tiptoe button.
Yeah.
Click down on left stick.
Holding down control.
I'm crouching as I approach.
It says so much about who you are as a person based on what your go-to key press was to activate stealth mode.
Yeah.
I don't play enough video games.
Do you tap Y? Do you click on the left stick? Do you hold down control?
That's it.
I play the Sims. There is no stealthing.
I used to play Zoo Tycoon.
Oh, Andy. Oh. That was awesome, man.
Oh. I knew you would get that one.
Oh, yeah. Or that was awesome, man, depending on where you were when you were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good old days.
So we're approaching a shadowy figure.
And as you come down the alley, it turns and kind of jogs along the back of the building.
Okay.
And you come around
for a penny in for a pound.
You come around the corner and you can see it a short distance down, and it waves, and then it zips up another alleyway.
Keep following. Okay.
Where am I trying to get you guys? I'm trying to get you to there. Let's see. What do I have to do to get you there? Ah, perfect.
Teleport?
No.
Can we fast travel?
No, not quite.
Oh.
Fast travel.
Wait, which button is fast travel again?
Menu button, third thing down. But no, because there are enemies about.
Oh.
Can't fast travel with enemies nearby.
So we're Assassin's Creeding it.
Got
around town.
Okay, I'm crouching.
I'm keeping pace with the guard.
Okay. She the figure breaks out, and you can see that it's now standing up against the inside of the palisade. And then when you can see it, or it can see you better coming down the alley, it turns and starts to jog along that palisade wall at the edge of the town.
I hope we're not walking into a trap. Another trap.
Walked out of one. Frying pans and fire, possibly.
Yeah.
Hopefully this thread is not as... I prefer a direct thread like this rather than that nonsense that she was trying to pull.
All right, keep following.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Be on your guards. The drill.
Yeah. After a bit of jogging along the fence line, the figure crouches down, and you can hear, not very far, the toll of a bell.
Make note.
And as you get closer, the figure kind of puts its hand up, and you can see a very distinct single finger come in front of the hood. And then it points at the building, and you can see there's a church that you're coming up on the back of it. You'd be coming up through the graveyard behind it. And the church sits on the road that cuts through town. And the figure just sort of points at it.
Ah, sanctuary.
Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully there's no one hungry in this church.
Hey, you guys, we forgot to go back for that one guy.
He'll be fine.
Which one?
It's only been a day.
The guy that was starving in that other decrepit church.
Yeah, and the church guy.
Oh, we said we were going to come back next time we were in town.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, he's dead. He's dead. That's going to be a skeleton by the time we get back.
Oh, he's fine. He was still talking, which means he's fine.
Kai, does it make you feel better or worse to know? No, he won't be a skeleton when you come back.
Oh, he's going to be undead. That's what you guys did.
Does that make it better or worse to know that?
Decomposition takes a while, so probably he wouldn't be a skeleton.
He's going to be a zombie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with zombie.
I don't like the way you said that.
We'll go with zombie because it could go a lot of ways.
So are you
how your voice
us it's going to be an undead when we get there?
His voice became very high pitched. I don't like.
I have said nothing with confidence yet.
You have said nothing with this confidence yet.
The figure.
I
the
will
figure
herd
gesturing,
the ladies towards the church.
That will be safer. And then the figure kind of pulls the hood closer around it and starts to run back up along the fence line a bit further.
To the church we go.
Let's hope that person was a friendly.
I'm going to make sure we go once everyone has left the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I do a quick, once around the church and make sure there's not, anybody hiding in the back or just, a quick recon around the building?
See if they left you anything to worry you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or people hiding in the back. I don't know. I'm paranoid
Are people hanging out in the graveyard?
No, the people are filing out and walking along the road back, probably home-ish.
Okay.
Making it free for you to approach safely.
Okay.
Front door or back door?
Probably the back door, which is less visible. Conspicuous. Back door?
Yeah, is this one on the edge of town or is it closer to the middle of the town?
It's pretty close to the edge of town, actually.
Okay.
But you can go through the door that would open directly into the chapel as opposed to going around the front.
Mm-hmm.
That would be doable.
Okay.
And I'm going to make sure Ireena's in front of me so she doesn't get tossed towards the back.
Yeah.
So I have eyes on her. I'm going to make sure I have eyes on Ireena the whole time.
Fair. I'll go up and knock on the door. Just lightly. Are we knocking on the door or are we breaking in?
Let's knock.
Okay.
Knock. Ask for sanctuary.
Okay, I'll go up and knock on the door.
Hunchback in Notre Dame.
Yeah, we're gonna hunchback in Notre Dame this stuff. This shit.
Dun 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 dun. Anyway.
Honestly, such a great movie.
So underrated.
So underrated. Apparently the musical's better.
What?
Which is hard. I know. The stage musical.
Huh.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard great things.
One of the only classic Disney movies I've never seen.
Rectify that immediately.
My parents were like, nope, we're not doing that one. And I don't know, I just haven't gotten around to it.
But it's not nearly as anti-church as the
I haven't seen
original
Hunchback and I haven't seen The Black Cauldron. And those are the only two.
I hate to break up the game with non-game stuff, but you will appreciate the music so
I've
much
heard the
more
music.
than the average. Okay.
I've heard the music and I love the music.
Okay. Because I mean, again,
all of the people I know who have seen it
will appreciate the music.
I love the music. All of the people I know who have seen it have said it's their least favorite Disney movie. So I just haven't gotten around to it. Which probably says more about them than it does about the movie. It just hasn't been on my priority list.
Yeah, that says way more about them than the movie. That movie's amazing. Go watch that movie.
I do love the music.
Boom. The door opens and a A shaken-looking man looks out in the darkness. Yes.
Shaken?
Yeah, he looks
Shaken-looking?
shaken. Like he's like, why is someone knocking at the back door of the church in the middle of the night?
Is it the middle of the night? Because I was thinking it was like 8 p.m. just after
Well,
dark.
It's
Or
a
is
bit
it
after dark. You had a nice
Okay.
chunk of time to sit at Lady Faulkner's, plus the whole travel through town on foot.
Yeah, I thought it was closer to like 9 or 10, 9:30.
It's after dark.
Yeah.
That's like dinner time in Europe. Okay. Anyway,
Fair enough.
The Europeans are weird.
it threw me off when I was traveling in Europe. I was like, it's like 10 o'clock. Why aren't you people in bed yet? And they're like, no, this is like dinner reservation time. Okay. Anyway.
It's bedtime.
Strange.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
but he does
That's
look.
how it works in Vahlaki.
He looks a little bit concerned with this. Yes, can I help you, my child?
I'm going to put on my absolutely most innocent looking face, and I'm going to say, he looks like a clergyman, I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, he's still in.
Okay.
He's still in his robes, investments.
Okay. I'm going to say, I apologize for the intrusion, Father, but we're seeking sanctuary.
Oh yes, please come in quickly. I'll ask for details once we're all inside. It's you, Anne, and he looks past you. Oh dear. Yes, please come in. And he stands aside.
Was that when he saw Ireena or someone else?
It's more of like the number. It's like it didn't seem to. It's like the number of people.
The squad.
Yeah.
The squad.
You saw
4
like one or
ladies
two
in the
people.
escort. Yeah, 4 ladies in the escort.
You saw 1 or 2 people, and then all of a sudden, like 6 people walked in.
We pulled a Bilbo. We
It's
pulled a
5.
Hobbit.
It's 5.
There's just 2 of us. Wait, no, there's 3 more. Wait, no, there's just 4 more.
Right, I swear, 13's the limit.
He turns to a boy who's also wearing a very simple cassock and says, go put some water on, please, in the kitchen.
I'm going to make kind of a show of like ushering everybody in and looking around outside, looking for people coming up behind us.
And then
I'm going to make sure Ireena gets in before me.
as soon as the last of you is in, he closes and bolts the door. And then he turns to Amelie. What is it that you need sanctuary for, my child? What have the lot of you done?
It's not what we've done, Father. We're escorting this young lady to safety, and we have reason to believe she may be in danger in the town. And I'm going to kind of point in Ireena's direction.
And he turns to her. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. And she introduces herself, and his eyes are like, oh.
That's why.
We've been asked to escort this lady to safety.
Oh, then absolutely you have the sanctuary of the church, as much as it is these days. But please, yes, we'll put some tea on and get you settled in for the night.
Can I make an insight check on him to see?
We're just that tainted.
Out, like,
Just to make sure.
Is this a, oh great, she's fallen into my hands, or is this a, oh no?
Oh great, she's fallen into my hands.
Or is this, oh no, I gotta protect this lady.
Yeah, roll me the insight.
Okay.
Can I also roll that insight?
This is how tainted we become.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
This is Ireena is someone that he recognizes the name of and is sincerely concerned for.
Okay. I feel a little bit better.
Just a little bit.
Thank you, Father.
We are most appreciative of your hospitality.
Yeah, the boy comes back out again, and he's removed his cassock, and he's wearing just a simple black tunic and breeches, and asks if anyone needs anything else.
No, thank you kindly.
There's bread and cheese in the pantry.
Actually, that would be fantastic if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, yes,
we haven't eaten yet.
Dun, dun, dun.
We haven't actually eaten yet.
No, you've gone swimming, you've gone running, you've gone walking.
We've gone
people.
sneaking.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone sneaking.
fended off creepy old ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Who offered
Had
you
a
food?
fun Had a fun passive aggressive.
Who offered us probably drugged food.
Yep. And definitely maybe rotten fruit. So that's fun.
Something with a charm on it.
Happened.
And a demon cat.
It was bruised. It wasn't rotted. It was just not well managed.
Disgusting.
The bread is,
disgusting.
by the way, a bit on the stale side.
That's okay.
Even more disgusting.
Stale is better than maybe poison.
And when the boy brings out he brings out a wooden plate with a stack of small cakes on it, and a block of cheese. The priest actually takes the block of cheese and pulls a knife from inside his robes out and actually cuts off some bits of mold.
He slept with a knife in his robe?
No, he has pizza, inside. It's a eating knife.
Eating
knife. Yeah.
Not a stabbing.
Would walk around with a knife for eating.
Yeah. He's a very practical man.
That's a normal thing.
He cuts off the molds.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I don't walk around with an eating knife.
Back then it was pretty common. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's fine.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's probably. It's small, right?
This is fine. This is fine.
The priest will turn to Ireena and comment that he'd heard that her father had passed, and he hopes her journey has not been too arduous.
He's
not talking to you.
I know, I haven't said anything. I'm just saying,
She politely says that she's been in very good company. I'm very grateful for the work you've done to get her this far safely. But you see, it seemed I was no longer safe in my home. An invitation had been made to that monster in the castle.
I am not going to look at Agnes.
No one's moving their heads.
Agnes is looking at her plate. Agnes is looking very hard at her plate, so hard the cheese is melting.
And Ireena's very kind with what she says. She leaves it just at that. And so we were looking for a safer place for me to stay. I'd have no idea for how long. And the priest nods. You may have the sanctuary of this church for as long as possible, but I must warn you, it might not be the safest. You might be best journeying on further.
Is there anywhere further we could journey on where she might be safe?
He considers that. I don't believe that Lord von Zarovich has any influence over the Wizard of Wine's winery.
What?
It's further to the southwest. There's no love among them for Lord Strahd. They keep to themselves for the most part and provide the various vintages that you find around the valley, bringing what joy it can in these times. They may be able to offer you additional sanctuary that I cannot, unless, and I dare not impose, unless perhaps you might find what happened here.
Something happened here?
You mean?
The artifacts of St. Andal have gone missing.
They don't know what are those? What is that?
Well, this is the Church of St. Andal's.
Uh-huh.
There were artifacts here to sanctify it.
Huh?
They've gone missing.
Oh.
As I said, I can offer as much sanctuary as I might, and this as the House of the Morning Lord, it should provide some protections, but only in as much as a building might. I call it home, as does the boy, and we certainly will offer no invitations to anything that comes calling.
When were the things stolen?
My bet's on the old lady.
My bet's on Beefy Man.
Beefy Man.
Beefy
Beef
Man.
boy.
A few
My
nights
bet's
ago.
on
There
Beef
it
Boy.
is. Found it a few nights ago.
Did anything strange happen a few nights ago besides the
theft?
Yes.
Not that I can think of.
Strange noises. Whenabouts did this theft occur?
Pardon?
Whenabouts, like what time?
Oh, it was during the night.
During the night. All right.
I'm surprised neither of us woke to the sounds, but when we woke in the morning and began to prepare for any morning prayers, the crypt beneath the altar had been ransacked. There's an entrance you see there behind it.
How many people? Oh,
Go ahead.
continue. No, you continue. I'll ask my question after.
Someone had pulled up the floorboards and gotten access to the crypt below.
Oh, that's very adamant.
How many people know about this crypt?
Myself. And then he glances at the altar boy and the boy.
That's it?
It's complicated.
Uh-huh.
And he turns to the boy. Yeska, why don't you go check the tea? And the boy kind of nods a few times and shuffles off into the kitchen, study, common room down the hall. Priest turns back to you. He was very concerned several weeks ago. He was quite certain that after one of the festivals that Strahd himself would be displeased with the town. And I tried to assure him that we would be safe here in the church because of the relics. And he could not be consoled until I was more specific about their location.
So
before you suspect, there is no way the child pulled up those floorboards and dug into the crypt.
Not by himself, perhaps.
I would never accuse the boy of doing the thievery.
However, when I confronted him, he did admit he had spoke of them to someone, but he refused to divulge the name.
Well, that doesn't help.
Not terribly, no. It's rather concerning. And he's been through so much. I dared not press him further.
Yeah. Perhaps he does not wish to disappoint you. It might be better if we asked him. Strangers can be easier to talk to sometimes than our closest confidants.
What do you mean by he'd been through so much?
Oh, his mother was one of the town guard. And unfortunately, during a bit of a mishap and misunderstanding, if you will, with some of the Vistani at the nearby camp, she suffered a wound that did not heal. It took her several weeks before she passed. His father
poor boy
disappeared a few weeks later on a wolf hunt. He's been living here with me since.
Oh, poor child.
Indeed. Again, had seen far too much. I dared not press him. But I remain concerned that perhaps to whom he spoke might be the responsible party for the loss of the relics.
Seems to be the logical conclusion.
We can speak to him for you, but maybe for his own sake, we won't tell you the name.
What do you know about Lady Wachter?
What of her? She's well established in the town and respected mostly through fear. Her boys are a pair of blackguards who constantly frequent any place they can find alcohol to ply their lack of interest or interesting personality. And Izurk is a bully. A fitting addition to the family.
Like many men, I guess.
Have you met her?
Yeah, she tried to keep us in her house.
Yeah,
Oh, dear.
we had the displeasure of making her acquaintance as we first arrived in this town. And she did not take kindly to us declining her offer of hospitality.
I'm impressed that you got out of the house alive.
Yeah, so am I.
As are we.
I speak facetiously, of course. I doubt she would murder you in her parlor.
You know,
No, that would leave a stain on the carpet.
Indeed.
You know, you guys say that, but I'm pretty sure she was like 2 ticks away from it.
She wouldn't kill us in the parlor. She would kill us out back.
Yeah.
Or in our beds and just buy new sheets.
Yeah, she had put down fresh linens to wrap us up in. Very thoughtful.
Well, she does have quite a following in the town. There are very many not very many, but there is a significant number who have her favor and who favor her in return. A bit of a book club, I believe they refer to themselves as.
That's funny.
I don't know if I'd enjoy being in a book club with someone of her personality.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all.
Her insights into the readings would be rather unpleasant.
Yes, it's a sad house. And I haven't seen her or her daughter at services in some time.
Daughter?
But yes, young Stella.
She never mentioned the daughter. She just mentioned her sons.
She doesn't mention much of the daughter anymore. Seems there was some sort of disagreement, and I believe, well, I've heard sometimes from parents of the young people that they shall lock them away until they are 30.
Oh, dear.
I've never thought I would live to see a day where a mother actually did. But if the rumors are to be believed...
And we just leave a random chick to die in a basement?
Again.
As we knew.
I mean, you couldn't get out of that lady's house fast enough. You want to get back in?
No,
We'll just add her to the
don't.
list of creepily
but, like,
bound people that we've run into.
I was gonna say, like,
yeah,
our list is growing, guys. I'm not sure how I feel about
Let's see. Yeah. So we had one in the other church, the lady in the boat, the one in the house.
What is with this country?
Weird.
Yeah, what is it with like locking people up in houses?
Particularly young. Well, we don't know what the person in the other.
And don't forget the woman who was morosely screaming out her windows.
Yeah, but I don't think she was locked up in the house.
No, she wasn't locked up, but there was something going on there.
There was something going on there.
Oh, she's fine.
I believe there was a mention of a lost daughter, in fact. So we are, in fact, on theme.
Yes.
Lot of daughters
As
going
Andy and I
around.
sit here and go, man, the number of plot threads you guys have walked right past.
Yeah. Look, I
yank us
just
to all
want to
of
get
them.
to Egypt where it's warm. And there's mummies that haven't been eaten yet.
I packed for Egypt, not this.
Yeah, I packed my summer linens.
Oh, anything else you can tell us about the relics? What are we looking for?
Well, if truth be told, I fear that our gravedigger and groundskeeper might be involved. He's often frequently enough at the church, and he's close enough with Yeska to have earned the boy's confidence. Milivok is a good boy, but troubled and prone to outbursts. There's not a lot of money to pay him with, and I'm afraid he is the only one earning coin for the family. I would not put it past him to do something like this for the money.
I wonder what other sorts of things he'd do for money.
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, he's a good lad. He is at heart. He just, again, he has a bit of a temper. And times are hard, as they always are here, it seems.
Desperation can do strange things to people.
Although there will be a festival in a few days. That should brighten everyone's spirits, won't it?
Most
All
certainly.
will be well.
Indeed. On that, let's get you some blankets. I'm afraid that they'll have to ask you to sleep here in the sanctuary. But I hope that you can rest
fine.
Mm-hmm. That'll be more than adequate. Thank you.
If that's the boy comes back and the priest leans over and suggests that he should get himself to bed post haste. As he then turns to Luis and says, "Let's move this up against the far door, if you'd be so kind to get the other side of it." He goes over to one of the large pews and suggests that you guys drag it in front of the main doors of the church.
We can totally do that. I will totally help.
Mm-hmm.
I, of course, will be. Yeah.
I will not. If my 0 was anything to go
Is
by.
Darlene helping with this, or is she kibitzing?
Is my... Oh, yes, I'm helping.
No.
I was
Fair
just making... I thought, yeah. My strength checking?
Oh, you're not strength. I'm just verifying that you're... You weren't invited to participate, but I was just curious if you were going to invite yourself to help move stuff.
I invite myself to participate in strong people things.
Fair enough.
Thank
you.
Luis is there for show.
You barricade the church. You have a fitful night of strange dreams that we will kick off next week with. And you've achieved level 4.
Hey! Woo!
You pass a milestone.
Yay!
You have successfully gotten Ireena to Vahlaki.
Yay!
However,
For all the good that did us.
You let Arabelle disappear.
Oops.
Sort of.
I mean,
She's
what
alive
are we
and
gonna do?
tired.
Tie her up and drag her with us?
Oh, no.
Yeah,
Hey, you all made your calls. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
It's not like she hasn't already helped you one more time.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised nobody said anything about, but that's okay.
I mean, I kind of figured it was her.
If she wanted us to know it was her, she'd have taken her hood off.
Yeah, exactly.
You're just messing with me, Andy. I know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do our wrap up, wind down, because we are right here at 10 o'clock. It's landing right on a good spot. And see how we're doing tonight. We're gonna start with Kaitapan, and we're gonna do the who were we tonight, and your star moment of the night. What stood out as like that was cool. We should have more of that.
I don't know if it's we should do more of that, but yeah.
I'm feeling the same way.
Hi, my name is Kaitapan. I am a streamer when I am not here on Rob's channel. I play Darling, who is the apparently very rude commoner. Jackass. That lady really irked me. I wanted to slap the crap out of her.
Mean.
Yeah, I really wanted to smack the crap out of her. But yeah, my star moment was Rob just going, okay, I just want to double check and make sure you guys actually just want to sit back and watch while this girl launches herself to the other boat. And I'm like, just grab the popcorn. Yeah. You know, for once, I'm not getting beaten
popcorn.
up. I'm not getting beaten up. I'm, you know, this lady, you know, she deserves to get what she needs. And, you know, she was going to die. She deserves everything. So she can have it. I will let her have it.
We'll let her have her moment.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Look, let her get let off some steam. Okay.
Oh, that was funny. But yeah.
Legit.
Legit.
Kind of like that we just left him in the boat.
It's fine. The
June?
sea will decide. Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm June. You can find me nowhere except for on Rob's streams for this. I played Agnes Devereaux, the resident rogue archaeologist.
And skeptic.
Yeah, the skeptic. And my star moment of the night, it's technically 2 moments, but it was when both Arwen and I rolled 0s on our athletic checks because we have -1 to strength within 10 minutes of each other.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
That was that
was
trying to
else.
get the boat out there was
Yeah.
pretty dang
This
epic.
Yeah, this is not a seafaring campaign. Apparently.
Cool. Andy?
OuterDork, and I was playing Luis Harburg, our magician and sometimes reluctant warlock. Definitely my highlight of the night was yet again watching a campaign nearly get derailed by the natural world. No monsters, no nothing, just trying to swim.
just trying to swim.
As I have many times seen, it's just, that's what happens, right? You know, you fight all the monsters, you do all the bad stuff, and then, like, you fall off a mountain.
It starts snowing.
Slip and fall.
You're not dressed for the
Come in
weather.
like a wrecking ball.
You don't want to see me on the wrecking ball. That's not an option.
That's fair. That's fair. And Arwen?
I'm Arwen. You can catch me on Instagram. Yeah, I don't know that I want to see more of it, but that lake debacle was just good content. I mean, let's not do that again, but I'm sure that was fun for everybody to watch, kind of thing.
That was
special, something special.
Definitely epic and crazy.
A little bit. Just a little bit special.
You could almost hear Rob going, am I gonna lose this party in the lake?
Yeah, definitely.
We don't lakeify well.
No.
Don't lakeify. Oh, that was another one. The lakeifying.
Lakeify the boat, yes. That was definitely up there for keepers.
Yeah, we almost all got lakeified.
Yeah, we almost lakeified the party.
Yeah.
Awesome. And my name is Rob, aka Lantern Noir, and this is where you find me. Sunday nights for Ravenloft, Wednesday nights for the Convergence, Saturday mornings for the Bitter Victory, Sunday mornings for Coffee and Chaos, and coming soon, way more Coffee and Chaos because I am wrapping up my professional career as a teacher, and I'm turning into a content creator, and we're gonna do it. I get to truly live the dream and be a full-time content creator in my retirement from teaching. So June 11th is the official party to kick that off, which everyone is invited to come hang out. It'll also be an opportunity to talk about some Patreon projects, which include more adventures, more one-shots, more custom monsters, lots of fun stuff that's going to end up there on the Patreon. And then this coming Wednesday, speaking of the Patreon, we finished season 1 of the Convergence, which I am so excited for. We actually had people almost in tears at the end of the session, which I mark as a win. And it was fun. And so that's going to be an off-stream party, but Patreons are welcome to join it as well. We are going to get together again next Sunday for sure, right? I'm double checking that the 29th we are go, but then we're going to have a week where we're going to be getting together on a Monday because of scheduling issues. As we move through this graduation Father's Day season, we're going to shift a little between Sundays and Mondays, which is also not so bad because Miss Arwen will be also available on those afternoons a bit earlier because she also will be on summer vacation. So it's like a trial run of retirement for her. So just in
30 years or so.
It's a couple of months of retirement is a way to think of it. Decide if you really like it or not. And then we're good to go. We are going to send everybody who's hanging out here with us on Twitch somewhere fun. Let me see who's currently on so we can send you somewhere where you can have a good time. And then we're going to shut things down and call it a night. Let's see. Who do I know that is on? Not that many people. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to pop in on... Well, it's been a while since I've raided in on him. And he, too, is getting pretty close to the end of things. We are going to raid into... indeed, Aseki, good night to you as well. We're going to raid in on the Raven Armed, who is currently running a Just Chatting stream. So we're going to gear up for that. Thank you all for coming tonight. A big thank you especially to Typhonius and to Rumple Forcekin.
Oh, dear.
Really? Really? For following. We'll see how that pans out. And we'll be back for some more Ravenloft goodness. More haughty haughty, wealthy, well-to-dos and dodgy government officials next Sunday at 7 o'clock. We will see you all then, and thanks for being here. And wherever you are headed off from here, stay safe.